These two grown men had never seen the Simpsons, how the fuck's that even happen? We're two grown men on a mission now, so buckle up and just strap in.
If you got up in the club free,
let's get dirty.
Say let's get dirty.
Let's get dirty.
And you drunk up in the VIP,
let's get dirty.
Say let's get dirty.
Let's get dirty.
If you swinging from
These two grown men had never seen the Simpsons, it's America's barley basket.
Welcome to episode 80 of America's Barley Basket. I am your host, Nathan Fosbuck, and sitting next to me, virtually, is Marlin Wells.
Virtually?
Mm-hmm.
Right here.
God, in the flesh. I was just having a flashback to the ye olden times.
That's been like 40 episodes ago.
So how long has it been? When did we come out of our COVID cum chambers?
Man, when were you and I face to face for the first time? I know for a fact that episode 55 we were doing this physically, but that wasn't the first one. So it's at least been that long.
Think of that. We're out here in the world again, just pressing up against things, just living like it was like no care in the world.
Is that what you're doing? You out here pressing up against things?
Leaning into cashiers at grocery stores.
What?
We can, baby.
What kind of life are you living?
Free love.
Omicron's going to get you.
You think Kron, it already stepped up to me with the OG, and I handled it. Omicron, that's weak sauce.
Yeah, but things escalate. It's never, like, it can't be milder, can it?
Actually, it is. It's supposed to be. Omicron is.
Well, fuck me. What do I know?
It's easier to catch, but not as brutal on you.
Oh.
I mean, there's some people out there that they ain't got the constitution that I do, so they might get slapped around by it a bit. But when the Lord made me, He took the finest piece of granite and started carving.
Is that what happened?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I was hoping you would answer more affirmatively than that, quicker. So
yes, Nathan. Yes. No. The Lord really
chiseled the good look.
Chose the finest of products to carve forth your visage for sure. Certainly.
Firm body. Bold lines. Could carve thin cut cold cuts with this jawline.
Oh boy.
What's this podcast about, Marlin?
It's about the Simpsons.
Who'd have thunk?
On paper.
Yep.
We are going to wrap up season 18 today.
Look at us.
Nathan, by the end of this episode, we will have watched and recapped 400 episodes of The Simpsons.
So does that mean The Simpsons are getting close to episode 800 in real life, or more like 750 probably?
Probably closer to 750, but I'm not a math kid, so I don't know. I just, that hit me today, fuck me.
That is wild.
That's too many episodes.
That's a whole bunch.
That is more episodes of any show that I've watched by a magnitude of quite a bit.
Most shows, there are very few shows on planet Earth. You could count on one hand how many shows have made it that far to 18 seasons.
It's like what? The Simpsons and Gunsmoke and
South
Monday
Park,
Night Raw,
South Park, Law and Order.
I bet Family Guy's creeping on it.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, they're getting there.
I bet they've had more than that, actually.
Yeah, you're right.
I feel like the last time I saw their list of episodes on a Netflix was they were well into the 20s as far as seasons go.
That can't be right, though, can it? Didn't it start in 98 and they took a year or two off? Well,
in the spirit of last week's episode, why don't I sit here while you Google how many episodes of Family Guy there's been?
Yeah, let's see.
After last week's Don Flamenco incident.
The arrogance that you said that with, it just still sticks with me.
I was also doing some looking, speaking of last week, the Punch-Out clone where you are a boxer but you fight aliens that I was trying to think of was Power Punch 2 on the NES. Which is
really?
A real good Punch-Out clone.
And did it involve the Power Glove?
No.
Oh, really?
No, that's just what it was called. And at one point, Mike Tyson was tied to it, but then He had his whole thing,
Yeah.
and they dropped him. So, like, you play as who is clearly Mike Tyson,
Oh,
but
really?
they changed the name to like Mark
Interesting.
Thompson or something like that.
And that game mustn't have Whitney where I would recognize the name. I played it.
No, I think even for me, it's a pretty deep cut. Even for a video game person, I think it's a pretty deep cut.
We are now into season 20.
Of Family Guy.
This fall was the beginning. That's a hell of a run for
Isn't
them
that
too.
bonkers? Yeah.
Right? Hoofda.
They were canceled.
Yep. Yeah. Right. Yeah. They got
were
like
taken off of television.
2.5 seasons, roughly. You know, like
you love to see a Cinderella story,
yeah,
right?
yeah. But you know, sometimes they can wrap up. But you know what? I don't dislike Family Guy enough. It's not like who knows what would replace it. You know, like
I have no beef with Family Guy. At some point, it became cool to hate Family Guy.
Yep.
But you know what? As far as just laughs, Family Guy is pretty fucking funny.
Yep. I mean, I'm saying this. Haven't seen an episode in probably like 8 years, but like it was better before. Like, was it really though? Like,
Was it though?
Like that we've discussed in here before. Stewie got infinitely better post comeback.
Super
Like,
funny.
Stewie as like a 55-year-old, like sexually ambiguous bachelor.
Yeah.
Was a good change in that show.
Absolutely. But we're not talking about Family Guy. This is not a Family Guy podcast,
Yet.
Nathan. Yet. Fuck. Maybe we start. Okay. I can't deal with that right now.
I'm not emotionally ready to make that decision.
No. So let's talk about The Simpsons. Season 18, episode 19, Crook and Ladder. An episode that had me thinking about you a lot.
Ooh.
Just so you know.
Good.
Marge is reading Smothering Mother magazine, which is real good. And according to Smothering Mother's magazine, pacifiers are bad. So she believes everything she reads, immediately takes away Maggie's pacifier and throws it away. Tells Maggie, growing up means giving up everything that makes you happy. Which was too close to home.
Yep.
I like that we see a whole different side of Maggie because
Yeah.
she flips the fuck out and destroys their home.
Yeah.
Breaks windows, throwing shit.
They shouldn't make Nerf guns with that kind of PSI strength, you know? Like, that's too much. Like,
Yep, firing that Nerf gun, really wrecking house is Maggie. Marge immediately kowtows and is like, okay, you can have your pacifier back. Opens up the drawer dedicated just to pacifier storage, but there are none there. So she sends Homer out to buy a replacement pacifier, and he comes back and he's like, I couldn't find her brand, but I bought every other one I could find. And he's like, he's taking one out of the bag individually and saying the brand name and sticking it in her mouth, and she's spitting it out. And this goes on a while. And the only brand name I thought was so fucking funny that I had to write it down is Bink 182.
So I got written down too.
Holy shit, did I laugh at
There were a few
Bink
other good
182.
ones. But yeah, that was definitely the one that I wrote down.
But Maggie, not having any of it, doesn't want any of these. But then the dog hands her a squeaky toy, a squeaky rubber bone that she starts chewing on, and it squeaks, and she loves it. So that's the new pacifier.
Marge rarely drops the ball as a parent, but you got to get them kids off the nook, Marlin.
Yeah, we've discussed before. I think pacifiers are disgusting. Like I feel like every child I have seen with a pacifier in their mouth eventually spits it out. It falls on the ground, and the parent picks it up and sticks it right back in their fucking face.
I think you'll sometimes get a cursory wipe on the pants too.
Maybe they
If it
raise
lands in
kids
gravel.
different where I come from.
So if it's like it lands in a freshly mowed lawn, just
I
a
feel
quick
like-
wipe on the pants.
I feel like I have
Zink.
for sure seen a fucking binky land in an anthill and get it just picked up and shoved right back in.
Got to get kids off the nook eventually. You got to get them stop sucking their thumb. I got scared straight on that. Kid I rode the bus with sucked his thumb until he was like 7. His teeth legit grew outward.
I have a cousin who was a thumb sucker for so long that the front teeth grew forward. Terrifying.
I guess I sucked my thumb when I was real little, but I quit or was made to quit before I could even remember doing it.
Okay.
It's like apparently I had a blankie. I don't remember having a blankie. Must have been so young. I'm sure that was probably some part of like building character, or that blanket was burned in front of me or something.
I don't think I remember anything before the age of like 5. I bet 5 is where I started remembering shit.
I'm about 3. I can remember.
And even at 5, it's like, I remember when I got that puppy for my birthday and nothing else until I was 10. Yeah. You know, like...
I remember reading about a POW that was in a concentration camp in Vietnam, and he was some kind of like high level, like trained to be a super soldier type thing. I don't know if he's a Green Beret or what, but they taught him different techniques to stop yourself from going cuckoo when you're trapped in isolation. And part of it is learning how to dig into the recesses of your own mind to keep you preoccupied. He could remember things from when he was 9 months old. How trippy is that?
That seems fake. That doesn't seem real at all.
I think you are now talking down on American heroes, and I don't know if I want to be part of a podcast. It's that unpatriotic.
Oh, is that what
I
I'm
want us to go on record right now, but I think all of our POWs deserve respect. Can you edit in some applause at that part?
Yes, absolutely.
Some firework noises and applause.
And fireworks? Okay. All right, good. It's not like we're recording this the day before it comes out anyway. And, yeah, I got time. Why not?
All sorts of, you want any like patriotic music, some Lee Greenwood?
Stop adding shit, and we can't. We'll get sued.
Oh, God. He seems litigious. He's got a lot of botched plastic surgery he's got to take care of.
Is he the fucking Proud to Be an American song? That song sucks.
Oh, does it ever?
That song is so fucking corny.
Oh, God. And he just gets more laminated every year.
Oh, God.
Boy, this one too.
Are you done sounding like everyone's uncle when I say that a POW might have lied?
Oh, God, there again.
No,
you got to keep coming back.
You want more fireworks?
I don't want to sing it, but I am proud to be an American.
Okay, that's good. Good for you. I'm happy.
Yeah, good times.
So we got Maggie settled down with this dog squeaking toy, which is good, except it's loud and Homer can't sleep. It's Maggie just like in her sleep, squeak, just hitting it every so often. Homer can't sleep, goes downstairs, watches TV, where we get an advertisement for Napian sleeping pills.
Yeah.
You ever ridden the sleeping pill train?
No, but I have struggled pretty much my whole life with sleeping, but never enough to get on prescription meds for.
What are your sleep troubles? Like, what is the issue? Is it falling asleep, staying asleep?
For years, it was falling asleep, and that was when I was young. And then I eventually got severe anxiety where I would go whole nights without sleeping. But now I get to sleep all right now. It's just staying asleep.
Really?
Getting that old man bladder. Got to get up and piss, so that I wake up to piss, and my brain will start racing all of a sudden. And like just my bones hurt all the time. So it's like just wake up in pain. Like, got to flip over. I do a lot of flipping now. You used to not have to flip. Yeah, it used to take me forever to get to sleep, but once I was out. Those days are gone.
Yeah, I'm that way where it's like I take forever to fall asleep. Like if I want to be sleeping at 10, I best be in bed by 8. Like I'm still that way. Take forever to fall asleep, except unlike you, once I'm asleep, I sleep like I'm dead.
Enjoy it, because eventually that prostate's going to come a knocking. And that's when you got to answer the prostate, or you'll piss the bed.
You usually got to pay a lot of money for a good prostate knocking.
Yeah. They make devices you can do it to yourself.
You need a fistful of dollars and an open-minded buddy.
Yeah. Or you just got $45 on Amazon, a couple AA batteries, get yourself a rude boy.
A rude boy.
Start double-clicking your own mouse, brother.
What did you refer to it once on this podcast? Your boy button?
Yeah. Doing the pop and lock routine on your lower GI. What a thing to hear through the wall of your apartment. Wait a second. We have fun.
So Homer gets the Napian sleeping pills. At one point, Lisa says Ambien and then corrects herself. I mean, Napian. Good. That was very funny.
Yeah.
Because Homer, while sleeping great, is doing fucked up shit in his sleep. He sleepwalks. He ate all the food. He died He tied Hot Wheels cars onto the bottom of the dog's feet and set up all their VHSs as an elaborate dominoes track that spells out forms his head and then spells out Matt grinning underneath it. Super funny. You ever known anyone that like sleepwalks or does any weird sleep shit?
Yeah, a couple people. A friend of mine's younger cousin who I grew up with, she would wake up, or not wake up, I guess, would sleepwalk from their farm to their grandparents' farm, which was like 3/4 of a mile if you did it through the fields.
Jesus.
Could you imagine being like, a late night truck driver and just seeing a 5-year-old girl in a white nightgown walking calmly through a field?
That's how ghost stories start.
Nightmare material.
Yep.
Yeah. I know one of the small town cops in my hometown, it was a weeknight too, so just nothing going on. He said he turned on the main just to take one more lap and then go in, call it a night. And he turned on the main and there was just a little girl, like a 5-year-old girl in a nightgown, walking right down the middle of Main Street calmly.
Nope.
And he said, he's like, oh, no, this ain't good.
So what did he do after he shot that little girl?
So he pulled up and kind of turned the car so it's kind of blocking her way and gets like, hey, honey. And he says, I walked up to her and she just seemed and then she looked up at me and she just started screaming because she woke up.
You're not supposed to wake him up.
Yeah,
it's bad for the brain or something.
And so he's like, what am I supposed to do? Finally got her calmed down. And she had walked from like a 1/4 mile out of town and walked a half mile right down the middle of Main Street. And she said she was in kindergarten and she was dreaming about going to kindergarten. And she was walking to where the school would be.
Oh my God.
That's
fucking horrifying.
I once drove. I used to have a job where I have to wait. I had to work Saturday mornings from 7 a.m. till 11 or 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. So like a half a shift in the morning.
Sure.
Which usually meant I never went out on a Friday night. And it was like 10:30 at night. And I'd already been in bed. I had to wake up at 6. My mom saw me get out of my bedroom. She said, I guess maybe he's got plans. And I was like 19. I was out of high school at that time. And she said, but I had my work clothes on because it was like a dirty job working in like at a car lot. And I filled up a water bottle full of water like I do. And I just walked out that. I guess he's got plans that involve drinking tap water.
He's staying hydrated like a good boy.
I remember waking up, driving down, probably, I don't know, drove a mile and a half, not remembering it. So, Jesus, it's dark this morning. And I go, I guess, I don't know what's going on. It's early, whatever. And I didn't have a clock. That car was old enough it didn't have a clock in it that worked. And I drove through town and then I see at the bank as a digital sign, it's like, it's 12:45 a.m. And there's still cars at the bar. Like, what just happened? And I just zipped right back around, went back home and went to bed. That was the weirdest thing. Like,
I don't know that that's like sleepwalking or anything.
Yeah.
I think you just got your fucking clock messed up.
But I mean, to wake up, and I don't remember any of getting up or getting in the car. I remember driving by the veterinarian's office. It's like, what the fuck? Well, I guess I'm going to work.
Oh, I guess I'm in my car.
Yeah. I also, one time, my roommate heard it. All of this shit happened when I was like 19. I had this weird sleeping time. He heard a thud in my bedroom, and I woke up that next morning in pain. My face and upper chest was on the floor at the foot of my bed. My torso was a bridge, and my legs were in the bed.
Oof.
Not a good spot to sleep for 6 hours. I had dreamt that there was an orb floating above me, and I tried to catch it with my bedding, but apparently I didn't dream that it actually happened. So I slept I never found an orb, so I guess I struck out.
I don't know how you manage to remember shit like that. I put a gun to my head. I couldn't tell you a dream I've ever had.
Oh, really?
No,
I'm like that with most dreams, but there's occasional weird shit like that. That was also the one and only time in my life I ever had sleep paralysis, which I am very happy I could say was
terrifying.
That was terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Did you get a man standing in the corner? Did you get a demon?
Nope. I had this. I remember I couldn't move except for my eyes, and I had this. It felt like something was. I had this feeling that something was coming for the house, and now it was in the house, and now it's coming up the stairs, and it's coming at me at this fast rate of speed. And it's like the most awful thing ever. And then I fell asleep.
Oh,
I just had this building feeling of dread, and then it was over. And I just passed back out. The weirdest feeling. Yeah, it's a weird thing. Yeah, there's no old hag. Like I remember feeling pressure on me, but I didn't see anything sitting on me like some people think. Yeah,
you didn't get the gargoyle.
Yeah.
Huh.
Brains are weird.
Yeah.
Can't they just work?
They're not good.
Yeah.
Brains are bad.
Just be a team player. Come on.
Yeah.
We're in this together, brain. The brain acts like it can somehow propel itself out of the carcass.
Right.
Like
acts like it's better than you are.
Like the game Master Blaster. Ooh, that's a reference.
That's a fucking good ass game. You can get out of the vehicle.
Yeah, that's
Hell
our brains just bebopping around.
Hell yeah. But we have slowly transformed this Simpson podcast from a wrestling podcast to an old video game podcast.
But it's a tip of the hat to us.
Look at us go.
Yeah. Oh, I got to give us back though. When he is like, well, there's no way I would ever do a domino layout without my Dominic's knee pads. And he slowly pulls up and we see he's got those knee pads
Pulls
on.
up his pajamas and he's got them on. Homer also wakes up one morning to see that he has broken into the Rock and Roll Wax Museum and fucked up a bunch of shit. He melted the Elvis. He switched Kiss's face with their feet.
boots.
Yeah, so they all got boots sticking out of their neck. And he threw Yoko Ono out of the John Lennon sleep-in.
and he woke up in bed with John Lennon.
Yeah, not with Yoko, but with John. Yeah. That's funny to me.
He respects the artist.
So now Homer has a plan, like he wants Bart to lock him in the bedroom so that he can't cause any trouble with his weird sleep hijinks. So they do. They lock him in the bedroom, but of course he's still getting up to shit. He eats a bunch of Marge's jewelry.
When he's just casually eating her necklaces and earrings. Imagine how much it would hurt to swallow an earring.
Can you imagine eating jewelry?
Yeah.
God damn it. But Bart in the next room, he can't resist this. Yeah. He's got a dad who is sleepwalking and zombified. Yeah. This is, as he put it, every boy's dream.
Yeah, that's a good line. Having a zombie dad is every boy's dream.
So Bart takes him out, makes him drive, makes him pick up Milhouse, and then they go out on adventures. He gets him into a bum fight, and they sled. God damn it. When they sled on him down that hill.
Face first. Yep. His eyes are like half open.
And then they get to the bottom and the boys jump off of him and Homer stands up and he's missing all the front of his pajamas. They're all tore up and there's blood and sticks stuck to him. God damn it.
I got a question about the bum fight. He's fighting a guy that has a Thursday the 20th necklace. What's that a reference to?
Oh, you don't remember
It's an old episode.
It's an old episode. I think it's the one where Bart raps.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Because they're watching the video after, Lisa and Skinner are, and they're like, oh, yeah, well, we know Bart was there, but we don't know when this was. And that guy has that huge Thursday the 20th necklace on.
I appreciate that about The Simpsons.
Yep, I loved that.
Obscure. Also, when Milhouse gets in the car and he goes, your dad's a zombie? Let's make him give us haircuts. Jesus, Milhouse is insane. Like that's Milhouse. His idea of cutting loose.
Yeah,
like
let's make him give us haircuts.
Insanity. I love it.
And then their fun ends when they take him to Moe's dressed as a woman, like dressed in drag, and they send him into Moe's, and then it waits for a beat, and then Moe pokes his head out and changes the open sign to closed, and then shuts the door.
What are we supposed to imply there?
That Moe at least tried to bang Homer.
Yeah,
like that's what I took Homer. From that. Yeah. Whether or not Moe went through with it, it definitely started.
Yeah.
Homer comes to while he's driving as they're getting to the end of their night and comes to and drives into the fire department, destroys the fire department. And then here's where I started with you and your thoughts on Springfield. Yeah. They decided to have a volunteer fire department.
Which that ain't... Seems like it's fucking with canon. I guess maybe they could just retcon it. Say at some point
I think
in the mid-'90s they went to a professional fire department unit.
I think we're just meant to think that between seasons 2 and 18, they got a real fire department.
There's a boom in population at some point.
And the volunteer fire department is Homer, Apu, Skinner, and Moe. We get a lot of Homer sitting around in full fire gear, waiting for the whistle to go off. Like, any moment now, any moment now. Yeah. He's like in the shower shampooing the helmet. Yeah. Any minute now, any minute now. They finally get a call at Luigi's. Yeah. And they put out the fire. They save the day. And Luigi gives them free food. Homer eats an entire plate full of spaghetti all in one go, like in one mouthful, which is hard to watch. They save Rainier Wolfcastle. They Jaws a Life him out of his car, and he rewards them with a bunch of jackets from his old movies.
Yep.
So the guys are enjoying the perks. Like, they don't get paid because they're volunteers, but people usually give them shit after they save the day.
I know in my hometown that if you were a volunteer fireman, you got paid $5 a fire. I think it's awesome.
That's incentive to start fires.
Yeah. But like, I think it was, I don't know, but what a small pittance. You spent that on gas to get there.
$5.
I don't know what it was, but I think they got paid yearly. So I guess it's kind of like maybe you get $100 at the end of the year. So that's something, I guess.
That's not nothing, sure.
Yeah,
like the $5 a fire, A, is incentive to start fires. B, is, I think, a little insulting.
Yeah,
just
right?
make it $0. Yeah. Fuck you.
I like the idea. God, you're a bum if you're starting fires to cash
for $5.
Yeah, crunching the numbers, figure out a way to make it profitable.
Man, I got to start 8 fires a week. Man, ever since we instituted that $5 a fire thing, we sure are getting a lot of fires.
The firebugs moved into town.
My old man was a volunteer firefighter back home, and if you called the firehouse because there was a fire, the phone didn't ring in the firehouse. The phone rang in the bar.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
That's where everybody would be.
Yeah. God, yeah, small town fire departments, that's a ramshackle crew. It's like, who's got the keys to the fire hall?
Well, and I'm pretty sure that, like, probably 3 of the volunteer firefighters lived in town. Everyone else was country folks.
There was, in a small town in my area, there was a whole, like a local drunk that had like a handshake agreement that he could like sleep and bathe himself in the sink in the fire department hall.
Unbelievable.
So it's like you burst in there for a fire and he's sleeping in the cab of one of the fire trucks. Like,
Dale, you gotta get out of here. We got a fire.
Which is great. Yeah. Okay. Go lay on the dog mat.
Roll him out. Yeah.
Oh, small town. Someone's house burnt during that interaction.
Yeah. So the guys are enjoying the perks, and then they get a call to Burns Manor because there's a fire in Burns Manor. They put it out, and then they're, man, we get good burns here, good feeble burns, because he's up on the 2nd or 3rd story, and they got the big trampoline down there, which is such a good old fireman thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, come on, you got to jump to get out of there. And he jumps out the window and then floats down like a leaf because he's so dry and light and feeble. And then a gust of wind blows him into the power lines where he gets electrocuted.
Yeah. He sees, is there a bird? He sees there's a certain color tie.
There's a kite.
A kite. I was like, oh, Yale, man. Eh?
Let's croon. And he grabs the kite. Oh, my God.
And when they first bring out the trampoline and they tell him to jump, doesn't he say, what's in it for me?
Yeah, what's in it for me?
God, he's such a piece of shit. It's great.
God, I love him so much. So now they're all super excited because they're like, certainly Burns is going to give us something good. He's the fucking richest man in town. And Mr. Burns gives them nothing. Yeah. Because of course he does. And frankly, he doesn't owe them anything. Yeah. That's their thing.
That's not how fire departments work.
Right. Like, I think maybe if a volunteer fire department saved me, maybe I would give them something, but not there, not at the moment. Yeah. And it might be like, hey, I made you guys each a pie or something.
It'd be rolls or something. Yeah.
That kind of rural thank you. Yeah. But the fire department, the boys, are all pissed. And Mo robs Mr. Burns.
Yeah, that's what they became criminals.
This is crime now. Yeah. He like follows a burning ember into the treasure room and just starts jamming gold into his pockets.
And he's following an ember that he's blowing into the house.
Yeah, he made it happen.
Yeah.
And then, so that's their new shtick, apparently, because the next scene we see when we come back from commercial is them robbing the Costingtons.
Yeah.
Because they're like, they put out the fire and save Costingtons, and then they're like, there was a bunch of damage on all this stereo equipment, and they're just hucking shit into the fire engine.
What are we going to do?
Skinner, the only one of the four who has a conscience here, he's bothered by this.
As he should be. Good for him.
Yeah, so Skinner is the one who's like speaking up a little, but then they're like, you gonna fucking rat on us? And he turns a blind eye. He's like, no, I'm not. It's fine. And then the family gets to see Homer stealing in an elaborate scene where
5 segues at once.
Yep, Homer steals 5 Segways at once. He's like talking about what a criminal he is. Like, just they see him in the worst possible scenario.
And I like when they cut back to the house, the Simpson house, and there's 5 Segways just spinning aimlessly
out on the lawn.
Yeah.
You ever ridden a Segway?
Nah.
I bet they're fun.
I bet there's a high level of learning how to use it. You know what I mean?
I bet there's not. I bet
Think so?
I bet if I handed you a Segway, you'd be a pro in 30 minutes.
Think so?
Yeah.
I like to do some sweet tricks. Can you do sweet tricks on
Do
them?
a couple of
Whip
I
arounds?
don't know how many tricks you're
Take
gonna
it out,
do.
yeah.
It's not like you can take your Segway down to the skate park.
I'm just going to say, can I take it off a jump?
Can you grind?
Yeah, right.
How many Tony Hawk tricks can we do? So the family sees Homer stealing, and then they're super disappointed in him. We get a montage of the kids just staring at Homer, real disappointed, while Sad Eyes plays.
Sad Eyes, yeah.
So the next time they're out at a fire, Homer's talking to Moe about how maybe we shouldn't be doing this, while Moe is trying to steal a solid gold grandfather clock. Ends up having to let the clock go, but then Moe and Apu both get injured, so Homer has to legit save them and take them out of this burning building. At which point Homer's like, we're getting our wrap up. I did wrong, but now we're fine. Okay. And I gave away all my ill-gotten goods to the homeless. And then we end on several homeless men waiting in line at the soup kitchen, all on Segways.
Yeah. That was a good visual to end on.
I think one of them shouts, "I'm the bum of the future," which is fun. Yes, solid episode. I like that one a lot.
Upon retrospect, I enjoyed it more than I thought I did.
I liked that we touched on the volunteer fire department again.
Yeah, right? Who saw that coming?
And much like a lot of these episodes have been, the setup is long and elaborate with Maggie and the Binky. That's where we started this, you know.
Zombie Homer?
Yeah, Zombie Homer. We take a long time to get to what the episode's actually about.
Yeah, I enjoyed that more than I thought I did.
Me too.
Up to episode 20, Stomp or My Dog Will Shoot. Episode starts with the Simpsons going to a harvest festival, which Homer assumed, what kind of, he think it was like a Oktoberfest?
He thinks it's Oktoberfest. He's got his Lederhosen and his Steins, and then gets that quickly confiscated.
Yeah, they take all of his Steins, even his hidden Stein under his
secret hat Stein.
His silly German hat.
And he's got the Ricola horn, whatever that's called.
Yeah.
It's probably not called the Ricola horn. Now that I would refer to it as.
So episode starts with them milling around a harvest festival. Bart and Homer I would, as a child, would not want to be there either. That looks real dull.
No, that wouldn't be my thing.
But we get a few decent gags, though, during this. I like when Marge is looking at that cornucopia contest and that guy's horn spills. It's like, are you stuffing your horn with styrofoam?
He's got a styrofoam cone stuffed in there.
And he panics with the rest of the farmers grabbing. The screams are very frightening.
And they drag him away.
Yeah. And Marge's like, I'll testify if need be. And that guy, they ain't give me no trial.
Yeah, I think they killed that man.
They killed a man for stuffing his cornucopia horn.
There's something about the phrase, "you stuffed your horn," that I really laughed at.
And I also got a kick out of the First Lady pine cones, too.
Yeah, they're all dressed up as First Lady. It's just pine cone heads on little First Lady dolls. And Homer knows way too many obscure ones. Yeah, that was very funny.
Yeah, that was a good laugh.
How many First Ladies do you think you could name if somebody put a gun to your head? Over under 10.
Oh, I could do 10.
Think you could do 10?
Over that would worry me, though.
Yeah. You wouldn't know where to bet the over or the under?
I could just, I think I'd be shocked. I've been alive for 6 or 7 presidents now that I can name the.
Oh, yeah, you could probably.
Yeah.
But how many of them can you.
Yeah.
I could maybe do 10.
Yeah. So the Simpsons stumble into a cornfield maze. So Homer they are hopelessly lost in this maze. They decide to split up, or maybe Homer just panics and runs off. But the kids and Marge get out, and Homer's still trapped in there. And Santa's little helper rescues him. they give him the scent of Homer off Homer's sports bra.
Yeah.
The kids are kind of dismayed. It's like he just needs it when he's climbing stairs.
Oh.
So good.
Oof, Homer.
And Santa's little helper becomes kind of a local hero.
I like that while Santa's little helper is navigating the maze, we get Corn's Freak on a Leash. And while he's navigating the maze, we get Edna making out with a random farmer. Because he sees a few things. He sees Barney passed out in there.
There's a lot of jokes of that similar nature in this batch where someone's going through something quickly.
I know exactly what you're thinking
and they see random, we kind of get it in this too, but it's not quite as hidden because she says it when Homer's throwing Lisa in the air to see what she sees.
Yeah.
But she's announcing it at least. The other ones you got to actually look with your eyes, I'm on the subject of corn. I recently heard the song, what's it called? Here to Stay? That song slaps.
Yeah, Here to Stay is a banger.
That is a hell of a song.
I bet there are between 20 and 30 Corn songs that I really like.
See, I don't know if I could go that far, but I could put a solid 10 to 12 greatest hits together that I would really enjoy.
I could put together a 2-discer. That would be a 2-disc collection of Corn songs I really like.
So, and it's interesting. We don't get the chorus. It's just instrumental.
Yeah.
There's no words spoken, which interesting choice there. It's like they had to pay for it. So, but I guess, hey, it works. It fit the scene.
It's fine. It's a good joke. Like, it's a dog, which are usually on leash, and it's a cornfield, and it's corn. Like, I get it. As soon as it started, I think I said, I get it out loud.
Yeah. It's a guy. I see what you're up to, Simpsons writers. So now the dog has a little bit of local fame, and this kind of gets the Simpsons to enroll him in the police pet academy. So we get a few scenes of them getting training, and there's a good joke. Yeah. There's other animals, like when they do like the biting with the styro or like the foam outfit on the cop. When it's like round 2, it's like 3 horses and an alligator.
Yeah.
Like, those horses biting that guy is so good.
Man, a horse will bite.
Oh God, horses are the worst. It's a sick world that we should be riding cows and eating horses. No time for horses.
Alistair Overeem ate horses.
Yeah. And
he was a UFC heavyweight champion, I think.
Yep. We should maybe take a little something from Alistair.
That's about all you should take from Alistair, just so you know.
Well, it's not a name that has a good tracker. The only other Alistair I know is Alistair Crowley.
Yeah.
And he would inverse buttfuck guys into submission. He'd trick you into doing it, and he'd be the bottom, but he was the ultimate power bottom. He could suck you in, and you would beg to be released. He's like, I'm steering this locomotive. Men wailing to be released from his keister of doom, and he would not let him go. You read up on that. That's chilling. Like that's a Chinese finger trap he did not see coming. You wouldn't think that.
Oh man,
what kind of weird ass Kegel exercises was he doing?
You just named 2 great death metal bands: Inverse Buttfuck and
Keister of Doom.
Keister of Doom.
Or is the whole band name Inverse Buttfuck and the Keister of Doom?
That's a pretty good. Yep, that's a pretty good.
You got a lot of options there.
Name.
And Santa's little helper makes it through the academy. He becomes a cop. He's partnered with Lou, I believe, is that cop's name.
Yep, that's Lou. Lou is the black cop.
And I got a really good laugh out of his first call. It was a domestic call to Cletus's house, and it's Cletus's wife / sister,
Brandine. You never remember that woman's name.
Well, no, I would have not known it, but I was trying to think what is her title?
Wife, I would say.
Right? Yeah, and she's shooting at him, and he's hiding under like a tin
wash bin.
Yep. Yeah. And she's mad at him because, do I have the exact wording? You gave that hog a day of beauty, and there's a pig and the pig is just nicely looking at its hooves and kind of proud of itself, you know. And it's like, are you man, Cletus? Are you turtle? And he says something like, my actions will speak for it. He goes, scuttle, scuttle, scuttle. He just like scampers away with that wash mitt on him.
Oh God,
Jesus, I was dying laughing.
Fuck, that was funny.
And during that, a shot, I don't know if it's a ricochet, I think, clips Santa's little helper in the arm.
Yeah, ricochet off the wash bin.
So it's not like a bad wound, but I mean, he had to get bandaged up and stuff. So Santa's little helper kind of starts to become jaded, like rattled, like an old grizzled cop. Drinking too much. And they're going to there's like a police bar.
Holy shit, which is called the mug shot.
With that neon sign?
That animated neon sign of a policeman drinking out of a mug and then blowing his own head off. Holy shit.
And we get some music that's playing when it first goes in there that has to be from like a cop show.
Yeah, I would assume so.
It's too unique to not be from something.
Yeah. God, that fucking sign had me shook. I was like, Jesus. Simpsons.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no kidding. And Santa's little helper becomes even more jaded when he catches Snake, who is selling steroids to the kids,
to the delinquents.
Yeah, they catches him, and Snake ends up going to court. They go to court, but he gets released because Santa's little helper's a dog. He can't fill out paperwork, so now he's super jaded and super bitter to the point where he bites Bart because he's so on edge.
He's fried. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I have written right here, and I'm going to interrupt you because this is where I noticed it. Have they always drawn Lou with those weird Popeye arms? He has normal-shaped, normal-sized arms from the shoulder to the elbow, and then these fucking mammoth round forearms. Have they always drawn him like that?
I think so, yeah.
And I just haven't noticed.
It's weird because I think he's the only character that's drawn like that, but I think he has.
I mean, they even do like the little like hypnosis swirl for the elbow. Like it's just Popeye.
Yeah. I wonder what the rationale there is.
I never noticed it until this episode. I was like, Jesus, like we spend way more time with him in this episode than we ever have. So I was like, maybe he's always been drawn like that and I've never noticed.
And it's a good point there too. Like we get a glimpse into Lou's, like, because the Simpsons end up giving up Santa's little helper because because what's his name? Not Quimby, the cop. Wiggum. Wiggum is he's a cop now. He ain't a family dog. He's a cop dog. So the best thing would be for him to go live with Lou, his partner, and we get to see Lou's apartment. Who saw that coming?
No, not me.
It's the beauty of having 30 odd seasons. You can do stuff like that.
Yeah, you can get deep on some pretty rando characters.
There's that. There's probably a less savory term for women who are after cops.
I know one.
Really, not to be said on this podcast.
Badge polisher.
Okay, there we go. And she stops by his apartment, and she has a dog that's into cop dogs.
Yeah,
such a good idea.
And I like that Lou and Santa's little helper kind of have a little moment to chit chat, and then they're like, yeah, fuck it. And they both kind of go for it.
And Lou's like, who's going with who?
Yeah.
So ridiculous. At one time, he's like, just remember, they don't love you. They love the uniform.
They love the uniform. Yeah. Badge polish.
Yeah. So during this time, now that he's petless, they go to the pet store and Bart gets a new pet, a gigantic python, which he names Strangles, which is good.
the fucking visual of, we sell pythons by the foot, and they just got a roll that he measures out. It's that character, the Hey Bali.
Yeah, Hey Bali.
He has to have a name.
Yeah, I don't think he does.
I don't think he does either.
Because he changes so much.
Yeah.
I don't think he's meant to really be the same guy.
He's like the male version of Lindsay Nagel. Like, he's just an employee wherever you need him to be. Last week during this show, he was a UPS man.
Yep. Yeah.
But that image of him measuring python out by the foot, like it's like fabric.
Yeah, like it's like a paper cutter at the other end.
God,
like
that was funny.
Yeah. And so he's got the new snake named Strangles.
You ever know anybody that has a snake as a pet?
Yeah, not well. Never. No one that I've ever been at their house a bunch. I know a few gals now that have snakes.
Yeah, I have like a real casual acquaintance now who has a snake, but not like a python snake, like little snake. And I don't get it. I would understand a big python snake. It's people that have just like, it's a little snake, little
pythons.
It's like
a pygmy python is a popular pet type.
Or like, it's about as big around as a Sharpie, but only about 1.5 feet long. It's like, why is that?
So I've never known anyone that had that. I know a lot of people that have the pygmy pythons. They probably only grow to be 3-4 feet long, but they're as thick as your wrist at their thickest part. You know? Like,
I understand a python. Yeah. I think that comes from just liking Jake the Snake Roberts my entire life. So like that I would understand.
They're the kind of pet I find interesting at someone else's house. Yeah. I have no need to own one.
Yeah, it's like a jet ski.
Yeah,
I don't want one, but it's cool to know somebody who has one.
Cool to know someone who has a pontoon. I don't need that responsibility.
Yeah. I also don't want to go on your pontoon or jet ski, now that I think about it.
I'm just going to say, do we have a new burgeoning someone facing their fears in 2022? Going to start
absolutely not. Fuck that.
Hitting the breakers.
I'm not getting on a fucking jet ski.
You need to go whole hog, get like a stand-up racing jet ski.
I thought you were going to say go whole hog and get a jet ski while wearing a snake.
Yeah.
Like around my neck.
Holy shit. Boy, animal welfare would not be a fan of that. I don't think pythons do so well in lakes.
I just thought Bubbles would like the speed.
Yeah.
That's faster than any snake has ever gone. Not true, because Jake took that thing on planes all the time.
Oh, if that snake could talk, it would scream. That snake was not treated well.
Oh, poor Damien.
He did not like those snakes, and those snakes did not like him. So we get a great scene of Bart at the dinner table with Strangles, because Homer ends up strangling Bart as he does, and Strangles chokes out Homer. It's so good. It's like, can you breathe, Homer? Well, I can exhale. He's just getting smaller and smaller.
And he gets red.
The snake is crushing him.
Oh god, that was a fun scene. Yeah. I like the little touch in that scene that Bart with his snake is at one end of the table and the whole rest of the family is crowded around the other end of the table.
Yeah, that was good. So let's see. Bart has become fast friends with Strangles, and to the point it's show and tell. I think they're bringing their pets as the show.
Yeah, because Martin brings a rabbit.
Yeah, which Strangles eats. And because Krabappel's getting hard on Bart about like bringing the snake. It's like, hey, in this instance, he's doing what you asked.
Yeah, show and tell you can bring a pet.
Yeah, especially when it appears that was part of the assignment. You bring your pet.
We've discussed before, but not in a long time. What the fuck was the deal with show and tell?
I loved it. I loved it too.
I think show and tell was just a way to embarrass poor kids. Like, this kid brought in his fucking Millennium Falcon, and this kid brought in a pencil he found.
Something his grandma made.
Yeah.
But I also like just like the weird trinkets, because that was part of it too. Like I remember one class like bring a fun family thing, and one kid, I don't know if they were lying, but he's like, my grandpa found this in a field, and one of the scientist people or one of the science teachers at the college said it probably came from space. When I was at that age where I thought space was cool as shit.
Well, space is cool as shit.
Probably the size of like between a grapefruit and a cantaloupe. And I mean, it was a weird looking rock to find in a field in North Dakota. So I was like, I love that kind of thing. Like,
that's pretty cool. I'm trying to think. I can't remember a show and tell that I had and what I would have brought. Odds are my parents just like sent me to school with some arrowheads and a couple of rattlesnake rattles.
Yeah.
Like, and that was probably enough. But like maybe toys, but I feel like they wouldn't have sent me with anything valuable because odds are some bigger kid was going to fucking break it in some fit of prepubescent rage.
Yeah. See, if a rattlesnake, will the rattle stay good forever?
Oh, yeah.
Really? It won't start to just decay and like
No.
fall apart, lose its structural integrity?
No, it's like
interesting.
fingernails. Like
Interesting.
it's, it's fine. I'm pretty sure it's kind of the same material because they're kind of hard.
Yeah, keratin, is that what they're made out of?
Yeah, there's like a shell to the outside of them. Like I remember back on the farm, it's probably still there in the junk drawer in the kitchen. There's probably 24 rattlesnake rattles just sitting in there. Yeah,
really,
because the rattlesnakes are out there, and when you kill one, you take the rattle. A, because it's cool, and B, you can gauge how old they are, like rings on a tree.
Oh, interesting.
Like the longer, the more rattles, the older they are.
I think I've read before that rattlesnakes, like having a rattle, is a strictly like North American. Our rattlesnakes are the only snakes that have that feature. That like when Columbus and although the rest of the pillagers,
murderers, yeah.
when they all came here, they wrote about how one of their examples of how otherworldly and how different we are is we have snakes with castanets. That's how they describe it because they didn't know how to hell
describe
this
that.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Like, I do remember being a kid because I didn't have much, but god damn it, did I have a kick-ass He-Man guy collection. And I remember it's like, you got to save. I remember even as a kid, like, you got to save this for when it counts. Let these other guys show off a little bit. I remember like I brought it. And I think maybe 2 big paper bags just falling apart. Not the best way to carry He-Man. And when it was my turn, I just took my time and I set them all on the little ledge where the
chalk holder,
the erasers are like. Drink it in, bitches. Look at this roll of excellence. At that point, they probably hadn't become pro wrestlers yet either, so they probably still had their weapons and outfits. So.
None of their rubber band waists had broken yet.
Exactly. So, what a beauty. Look at that. 30-odd beauties in a row. Drink
I like
it
that
in.
you had it in you to be like, just hold on, Nathan.
Wait. Lie in the weeds.
We'll dunk on these
Bring a
bitches.
couple weak sauce toys, and then around Christmas, you show off. God, I remember that pretty clearly in my head because it was a lot to carry because it was and you already got a backpack and you weigh 40 pounds.
Carrying 60 pounds of He-Man guy.
Yeah. For the longest time, I carried him in one of my brother's old diaper boxes.
What was your most bitch-ass He-Man guy? If you had to pick one to strap firecrackers to, who was your least favorite He-Man guy?
I don't have enough time to think about it, but there were a couple characters I didn't like.
Right off the top of your head.
God, Manny Faces was a dud.
That's the only one I know, as we've talked about before.
I just can't think. There were a couple that didn't move worth a shit. Like they didn't because the idea for it was too complex for the He-Man guy limitations. Like, well, his arms don't go up. I don't want the one toy that I had. I think this might have been my brother's, but he didn't. He was too young to even give a shit about, so just kind of got sucked into my toys. I had a handful of Star Wars toys. I'm old enough to have some of them. I had the fat bald dude that was the Rancor's handler.
Oh, like the Pigman?
No. Pigman was a guard. This guy was a human. He's barely. You see him crying when Luke kills the Rancor.
Yep.
We somehow got the toy of him, which I don't know if an aunt or because if I would have been there, I would have vetoed. My brother didn't choose. It had to be a gift. My brother.
That sounds like a bargain bin to me. Like no one bought him.
Yep. Oh my God. Yeah. And I was like, why? To this day, it's like, why is there a toy this? But me and my cousin Ryan had such a disdain and just thought so. We would sometimes touch poop with him. This is what we think of you. We found
some poop in the yard.
Someone would shit in the toilet sometimes.
Jesus.
Don't flush.
What the fuck?
We have to show this toy what we think of it. Dip, 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 and then probably go chase somebody with it. These are healthy child turds.
Are they?
Yeah. So it's not like, oh man, I was pitching fucking double tapered beauties at that age. Was it like a blood trail like there is now?
Wasn't the George Brett nightmares you're having these days?
Those are some healthy turds.
Oh, God. Anybody who didn't catch that, Google George Brett shit his pants.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. If you don't take anything from this podcast, watch that.
Oh, Christ.
It'll brighten your day. Holy.
It'll make you happy.
It'll put you in such a good mood.
Yeah. I could receive word from the doctor that they have to take one of my hands, my good one, and then watch that George Brett video on YouTube and be fine.
I always had a fairly positive thought in my head of George Brett. Because, I don't know, just from looking at baseball cards, seems like a nice guy. He was really good at I like guys that played for a long time.
Yeah.
He was an old man when I was a little kid. That right there, he's pretty high on my list of my favorite baseball players.
That might be my favorite sports thing, period.
It's tough to beat, man.
And the Saints won the Super Bowl that one year.
That's a great list. My favorite team who has been downtrodden for 40 years finally wins the Super Bowl. But
the Saints won the Super Bowl, the same Super Bowl they debuted the Iron Man trailer. And George Brett talking about having diarrhea in a casino.
George Brett shitting his pants in a casino.
Might be my favorite sports thing.
The way with the calmness that he tells that, just like, I went fishing and I pulled a 3-pound walleye. It was a great day. Just like him. That's how he retold that story.
Yeah. Can't give any more of it away. Google George Brett.
Yeah, we shouldn't give away any more.
Search for George Brett on YouTube.
You've deserved it.
Yeah.
If you've listened to enough of our podcast.
Your whole day.
Yep. Oh.
If our podcast won't make you happy, that video will.
Yeah. So Bart's snake gets loose in the school.
Oh, right.
Because there's a great Mrs. Krabappel's looking at the wall. There's a fire alarm. There's a bomb scare. I think there might be something else. And then there's the escaped pet.
Yeah.
And everyone runs. All the faculty leave. So now they got to call the cops and to go find that snake. So we get Wiggum, Lou, and Santa's little helper, and Bart finds out it's his snake that's in there, so he goes back in.
Yeah.
The snake tips 2 chemicals over. They have a chemical reaction. Now there's like noxious fumes.
Yeah, they make a cloud. Yeah.
Which knocks Bart out. And then we get it becomes down to Santa's little helper or the snake. Who's he gonna go with? And
because they're both trying to rescue him.
Yeah, they're both good.
This is a weirdly sad ending.
They're both
for
good
this
boys.
Snake.
They're both good boys.
Yeah, Strangles is a good boy.
Yeah, and then we get some Strangles thought balloons. Like, fine, don't come back to me when he breaks your heart. And like 2 seconds later, who am I kidding? I'll take him back.
I'll always be there for you. Yeah.
But I think it kind of ends positively when he ends up going with Groundskeeper Willie.
Yeah, Groundskeeper Willie adopts Strangles and wraps him around the fire hose turn thing that rolls up the fire hose. That was fun.
I really enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, I'm a little bummed that the snake ate Martin's rabbit because I used to have a pet rabbit.
Oh,
That
really?
made me sad.
Like a wild rabbit you just captured, or like from a store?
I got it in my Easter basket.
Really?
Her name was Freckles.
That's a Hallmark movie Easter present.
Yeah, like a little black and white little baby bunny.
No kidding.
By the way, fucking rabbits live forever. I think I was 5 and that rabbit died when I was in college.
You're kidding me.
The rabbits live a long time.
Never would have guessed with a heartbeat like that. I figured they'd have 5-6 years.
That rabbit had a good ass life, just in a big wood and chicken wire cage thing.
You guys had to eat meat?
It was a big beef eater.
Love mesquite chicken bits. So, and did it live in the house or in the entryway?
No, out in its own like pen cage thing.
Okay. Handle the winters?
Yeah, handled the winters. Had a little house in there that we'd fill with straw, so it had somewhere warm to be. Feed it oats. It had a feeder, like a tin, like a chicken feeder.
Yeah. Yep, I can picture that.
A gravity feeder.
So you guys are bebopping around the farm doing things. What's the rabbit doing?
Chilling.
Are they an energetic animal? Follow you around, or doing their own thing?
Didn't let it out of the cage much. A few times in the summer, let it out in the yard and kind of play with it a little bit, pet it a whole bunch. But like, it wasn't just loose with the dogs.
Oh, so that's what I was picturing in my head.
Yeah, it stayed in its enclosure And occasionally you'd let it out and pet it, and yeah, it was nice. It was a nice, friendly rabbit.
They clip a rabbit, like, or because they think they'd want to hump everything.
I mean, it was the only rabbit that wasn't wild within 100 miles.
I mean, it's still
probably.
getting heat and want to pump.
Beats me.
Yeah.
That
part wasn't explained to 5-year-old Marlin.
It was never an issue.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
You march in front of it to see its heart on. Look at
Jesus, Freckles.
Freckles, no.
Fucking lift your back feet off the ground. Freckles was a girl rabbit.
Okay, yeah. I don't want to get into what that could entail, but
oh boy,
leave Freckles out of this.
I
don't ask for much.
You leave Freckles alone.
Not much is sacred on this podcast. The sanctity of Freckles.
I like during this episode, well, like is a strong word. I found it interesting in this episode that earlier when Santa's Little Helper graduates from police academy, the one who gives the commencement speech is Rudy Giuliani, voiced by Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, you're right, boy.
Before we knew he was completely off his tits.
Right? Jesus, yeah. Like now, like what a fall. I mean, he was always, I'm sure, a scumbag, but he was pretty well received.
He was probably always a scumbag, but now we know he's a scumbag, and that makes it different.
If there's not an incumbent Republican in 2004, George Bush Jr.,
yeah,
Giuliani runs, he beats any Democrat.
Oh,
he's the president of the United States.
Absolutely.
He had so much goodwill after 9/11. He was like America's mayor. Like, think of that. And now he's a punchline. He's going to die a joke.
Yeah.
He's going to be the guy in front of that goddamn lawn care business and when they're trying to hold that fucking, I don't know, press conference and he got the Four Seasons lawn care or whatever.
Or the guy fucking touching himself during that Sacha Baron Cohen movie with that 16-year-old girl.
I never did see that. Yeah.
I've seen that clip, but that's all I've seen.
Yeah, talk about. So, like, in 15 years, how big of a joke that guy's become. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like,
stay humble, Nathan.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Don't talk about others' rabbits. Keep an eye on your own rabbits.
Right. Keep an eye on your own rabbits. There's a T-shirt.
Your own Freckles.
Keep an eye on your own rabbits is the new America's Barley Basket merch. We have come up with a lot of ideas for merch that we have never made, we should correct that. Episode 21 is 24 minutes, and this one is going to be hard to recap, but I will do my best because it is a parody of 24, where lots of things are happening at the same time.
Yeah.
You a 24 guy?
Never seen one episode.
I've never seen an episode.
I've heard it's enjoyable.
I smell a new podcast,
there we
Nathan.
go.
Let's do 24.
Boy. As many ideas we've had for merch, as many ideas we've had for other sitcom ideas, because there's a lot of TV shows you and I haven't seen.
Podcast ideas.
Podcast, what did I say?
Sitcom.
Yeah, hey, man. We've now watched a lot of sitcom episodes. We're ready to star in one.
I think so.
Yeah.
I have always heard that show is very good outside of a couple of seasons, but I've never seen it. I like Kiefer Sutherland. I really do. Always have. Lost Boys.
Yep, right there.
Young Guns.
Yep.
The Cowboy Way.
There's a good pull. Who's the other guy in the
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson. Yep. God, it's a weird time. Kiefer might be maybe at that point losing his star a little bit, and Woody's on his way up because Kiefer's had some ebbs and flows in his career. Late 90s, he was kind of disappearing.
Yeah.
And then he had a 2000s renaissance.
I think Kiefer would have been on his way back down when that movie came out.
Yep.
And I don't think he would have been back on top of the world until 24 happened.
24 popped him.
I don't know that Woody was on his way up during that. Like,
yeah.
I feel like Woody had a shot up with Cheers and then like a 20-year plateau and then shot up again with No Country for Old Men,
True
and has
Detective.
since become kind of a prestige actor.
Oh, he kind of, yeah. There was a time in the mid 90s, he was the face on the VHS.
Of what, though?
Natural Born Killers.
Oh, sure. That's a fucking good movie.
White Man Can't Jump was a financial hit. That was
That's
a big
true.
movie.
I don't care for that movie, but it was a hit.
And then there's a cup Money Train. So he was the few where
he in Money Train?
He's a star of Money
Train. He did 2 movies with
Wesley Snipes.
That also
That's
Wesley
Snipes.
Snipes.
Yeah. And then by 99, he's done being a movie star. I think maybe he had some personal things he was going through too, kind of. But yeah, talk about the McConaissance, the McConaughey Renaissance, and the Woody Harrelson. Well, they were also both in True Detective together, but man, Woody Harrelson's a good actor.
Man, I like Woody Harrelson a lot. I haven't seen that latest Venom movie, but I've heard he's a lot of fun in it.
Yeah. And Woody, and was just one of the gang, and he was a replacement character in Cheers.
Yeah,
they hired him when Coach died.
To me, he will always be the guy in The Cowboy Way, because that's probably the first time I ever saw him.
No kidding.
He plays like wild. You know that movie? Do you?
Oh yeah.
If I were to make references,
no.
Okay.
I probably saw it when it came out. Wasn't paying much attention.
He plays Pepper. He's the spicy one of the two. Kiefer's a little more straight-laced.
Okay,
Dylan McDermott's the bad guy.
Yeah, I remember enough of those plot points.
Travis Tritt is in that movie.
Oh, shit, really?
He has a cameo in that movie. Not as himself, but just as some random bronc rider.
Yeah. I think maybe he popped up in a couple things in the 90s. Travis did, and the other ones might have been more TV show related.
Oh, sure,
some kind of like westerny.
I don't know
type
if you've
thing.
seen photos these days, but Travis Tritt looks like someone's aunt.
He
got that Kenny Rogers plastic surgery where he looks like an old woman now.
You're right, he sure did. Yep,
real weird.
Yep.
The Cowboy Way introduced me to En Vogue's Free Your Mind, a song that you and I have sang on this podcast. Yeah. And that was back during the day when you couldn't just Google things. So you had to watch the credits and see all of those songs and hope you knew which one when you went and bought the CD.
Yeah. Oh, I clearly remember doing that a couple times.
Yeah, a bunch of times for me. So 24 minutes is the name of this episode. We get what I assume is the intro to 24 episodes. I feel like we're doing a disservice to listeners by having never seen the show that this is referencing, but we'll do our best.
We're going to try.
We get like shots of each of the main characters with their name and a little title or something. When we see Marge for the first time, it says Marge Simpson, unemployed.
Yep, I got a kick out of that.
My very favorite was Lisa, who is working for the CTU as like the kind of the gadget. If this is Rescue Rangers, Lisa is gadget.
Yeah, good pull.
And she's like tapping away at her computer and it freezes and says, Lisa Simpson loves ponies, hates phonies.
Yeah.
God damn it, that's funny.
Oh, yeah. And so there has to be, I can't think of the actress's name, but she was on that show. She was also on Mr. Show with Bob and Dave.
Which I've also never seen.
I bet she played the role Lisa is in this movie. Like the behind-the-scenes tech whiz.
I believe it's Chloe on 24 because we get that reference later in this episode.
Yeah. The actress has the kind of name, it's funny that like an agent didn't tell her to change. It's very like Scandinavian sounding, as someone who has a very Scandinavian name.
Hard to say. It's not like...
It's like RHKLSULHB.
Those Scandinavian names have too many consonants or too many vowels, but never the same.
My name has 2 Ks in a row.
Cool.
Find me a word in English that's an Anglo-Saxon word with 2 Ks in a row.
There's not one.
I don't think there is.
I don't think so
I don't
either.
think there is. That is a strictly Scandinavian thing.
Ugh, you're in trouble.
I am in trouble. Boy,
too many consonants.
Yeah.
So we have a handful of stories all taking place at once. Marge needs to bake a cake for the bake sale. The delinquents are skipping school. And Homer has some rotten yogurt that he's left in the fridge for too long at work and has mold bubbling out of it and is horrendously smelly.
So gross. That kind of stuff usually doesn't bug me, but I could almost smell that.
Yeah. Fucking man, moldy or rotten food will get me to do a belly
bad
roll.
Dairy.
Well,
bad dairy is
also a good metal
right?
band.
Yeah.
Bad Dairy.
You're more of a punk band.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's Bad Brains.
Yeah.
That's
That might be a good point. Good point.
Derivative. The bullies get a hold of the yogurt. I didn't write down how, but this is going to be a real scattershot thing. Nathan, you jump in and interrupt at any point that you want. All these stories are taking place at once. The bullies get their hands on the yogurt. Milhouse is like the field agent for the CTU, which is something truancy something. Like it's an organization of the nerds at school who it's essentially hall monitors, but if you blew them up to be an intelligence agency.
It's Milhouse, Martin, and is it Database? And underneath their names, it's Dork, Dink, Dingus.
Yeah, I liked that a lot. And Lisa being kind of the head of it, being the person on the radio at the controls, and Skinner in charge of everything. So Milhouse is the field agent, and the bullies, Homer lets slip that Milhouse is the rat who's trying to fucking keep an eye on them, and the bullies throw Milhouse and Homer in a dumpster and kick him down the hill. I love, and this has happened on this show before, I love a child bullying an adult.
So good. And he's like, they call Homer fat, and he looks like Kearney. He's like, "You're fat.
You're the fat one of this group."
I'm bulking up for football.
I'm bulking up for football. We often struggle with this on this show, but Dolph is the emo kid, the emo swoop kid.
And if you pause the camera when Lisa's looking at like their files, his real name is Dolphin Starship.
Amazing.
And there's like he speaks like 25 languages, and then under Kearney's it has a few facts, and one of them is owns a tuxedo. It's just like, it's a good little bit of information to have on a criminal.
Oh, look at you doing the Lord's work and pausing on that screen like a real professional.
The Jimbo, I can't remember what there's nothing caught my eye enough to jot it down.
Boy, howdy, there is a Jimbo moment later in this episode that really made me laugh.
There's another great when she sends Milhouse out to be a field agent, and he's like, if I die, Lisa, there's a note I've left. She's like, I've already read it. Everyone's already read it.
Yeah.
Just sad Milhouse.
Sad Milhouse. Bart is in detention. Marge has to run out and buy raisins for her cake because she's working on a cake for the bake sale, which is happening in 24 minutes from the start of this episode. Like, she's kind of the ticking clock that you're following.
There's a great joke because she's doing laundry and she's washing Bart's little shorts. Like, if anyone were to eat his shorts, they would eat a lot of loose paper or something like that.
A lot of pocket garbage or something. Yeah. One of the things she pulls out of his pockets is a fucking switchblade. Not like a fun switchblade comb, but a functional stick you in the neck switchblade. She has to run out and buy raisins, and at the same time, Skinner and Lisa are trying to recruit Bart, who is in detention, because they want to get, they need a bully to catch the bullies, essentially. They need a bad kid to get a hold of the bad kids. So the bully's plan is to make a super stink bomb and unleash it at the bake sale and ruin the bake sale and just be delinquents. So that's their plan. They're in Jimbo's house down in the basement building the stink bomb. They have all these different stinky ingredients.
And some good ones.
Yeah. And then Homer's yogurt is the final ingredient into this stink bomb. It's in this cartridge. It looks like the tube you put in the bank vacuum tube thing in the drive-thru. And it's at this point that Jimbo's mom, who we've never seen before, I don't think, and we don't see her here. We just see her at the top of the stairs and her shadow projected down the stairs. She stands at the top of the stairs and is like, "Hey, Jimbo, I'm going out. I got to do this and that." And Jimbo says something along the lines of, "Okay, put a top on. We all have seen your implants." The idea of Jimbo's mom standing at the top of the stairs when it's him and his buddies in the basement with her tits out is so fucking funny to me.
Her like, well, the doctors told me it's like something about air.
The air will make him heal better or something. Oh my
and
God.
Dolph, like, great to see you, whatever her first name is.
Yeah, looking good, Kim or whatever her name is. God damn it, that's funny.
And is it around this time too where they test they test it out on a hamster or something like that?
Gerbil or something. They like put a little eyedropper of it into its pen and it sniffs it and dies.
Yeah, and they do the same thing.
Yep. They do the same thing to precious Ralphie Wiggum. They also have Ralphie in a big gerbil cage. And they test it on him and he like runs on the wheel for a second and then just passes out and collapses.
Yeah, because I got to escape. He does like 3 revolutions on the wheel, and then he starts spinning around, gets thrown out, and he passes out.
God damn it, that's funny. We get a real super quick, brief glimpse of Marge fighting Mrs. Lovejoy for raisins, because Marge needs those for her raisin cake. It's at this point we get back to the CTU where it's revealed that Martin is a snitch. Martin's a mole, a double agent, who's actually working for the delinquents.
Yeah.
So he's helping them stay one step ahead of all this. Bart goes to Jimbo's house because Bart has been recruited by the CTU, so he's working for the good guys now. He goes to Jimbo's house, but they're gone. He does find poor Ralphie and takes him along to help him out.
So good. We've got a man down. Well, not a man.
Well, not a man, but
very special boy.
A very special boy. It's at this point where Bart is on his little flip phone and he calls for Lisa to tell her what's going on, like give her an update. But he accidentally called Jack Bauer, voiced by Kiefer Sutherland, of course. And Bart does the Mo thing where he gives Jack Bauer a fake name. Yeah. And Bauer says it but doesn't get it, and Bart laughs.
Yeah. That was a nice touch.
And then we get Homer and Milhouse. They're still in this dumpster. They crash into Moe's.
Yeah. Is that where we see Moe doing his own dental work?
Which, from what I understand, is a big part of 24 is torture scenes.
Oh, really?
So that's what this is supposed to be. Because it's a long story, but I'll try to wrap it up quick here. The torture scenes where Jack Bauer, the good guy, tortures people to get pertinent information out of them was brought up in the enhanced interrogation trials.
Really?
Yep. The quote-unquote Jack Bauer situation, which is what it was called in court. When they were like, well, what about the Jack Bauer situation where you have to torture a guy because there's a ticking time bomb somewhere, which has never once happened.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But that was used as justification for America's awful torture policies.
What the fuck?
Yay, history.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And that brings me to the one part of this episode that I did not buy, and I thought it was shoddy writing, was Bart shaking down Nelson for information.
Right. Yep.
That wouldn't happen.
No.
Nelson's gigantic compared to Bart.
I'm with you. I thought the same thing. And I just kind of rolled with it because fuck it, whatever.
They had to for the story, I guess. But think of something better than that.
So Homer and Milhouse end up at Moe's, and Homer pokes his head into that torture scene where Moe is just reading a book that says, do your own dentistry. Yeah. And then he takes a fucking power drill to his own mouth.
Yeah. Holy shit, yeah, that's wild.
I've never had a drill in my mouth.
That is crazy.
Never once. 36 years old, never had a cavity.
My teeth have been chopped and swerved in so many ways. Like,
chopped and screwed like a bad remix.
Yeah.
No, never.
Really? That's so insane.
Like I've never once had a cavity, but my teeth when I was in my youth all looked like they were fighting. So I for sure had braces because they were all fucked up. My teeth looked like headstones in an abandoned graveyard.
My molars are only 20% tooth at this point. They're mostly lead and mercury or whatever they were using back in the day to
quick mix, like concrete,
ready mix. Yeah. hot mix, like a patching old highway.
Mostly tar, really. That bubbling trailer they drag around.
Tar kettle. I used to patch my share of pavement.
Oh, look at you.
Heat up the tar kettle.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know what it was called. Oh, we got the proper name for the tar trailer and the word parlance all in a 20-second span. Awesome. All of these stories are coming together. They're converging at the school. Marge is there with her cake that she has burned and then frosted over, which I think is a brilliant move. Frost over it. Fuck it. Yep. No one's going to notice. You put enough frosting on anything and you can eat anything.
Yeah, good point, too.
I bet I could eat a book that had enough frosting on it.
I would want to watch that.
Tune into my OnlyFans. It's only $11 a month. So Marge gets out of the car, drops her cake, picks it up quick, dusts it off, and heads into the bake sale. The bullies are there, ready to execute their stink bomb plan. Willie fights him off, but in the meantime, or attempts to fight him off, but in the meantime sets off the fire alarm, which has no bearing, really.
Yeah.
This is the point where Bart roughs up Nelson to get some answers of what the bullies are planning, and Nelson gives it up. Again, that scene, little out of place. But to be fair, they have a lot of fucking plates spinning here.
Yeah, yep.
Like, I can kind of forgive that one of like, okay, guys, you got a lot going on, so I'll allow that.
What the writing room must have been like on 24, my God.
Oof, yeah, a lot of balls in the air.
Yeah.
Martin fucking takes out Bart, knocks him out with a fucking French horn.
We get some good animation with the shadows. He looks all deranged.
Yeah. Martin, though, having second thoughts on helping out the delinquents, they give him back his ant farm, minus one ant because the ant has joined the delinquents.
Yeah, he's with us now.
Yeah, so Martin having second thoughts on what he's even doing, we get this fucking amazing scene. This is what I was thinking of when you brought up seeing things in the corn maze earlier. We get this amazing scene in the air vents where the camera is flying through the air vents and you're seeing all these things. The very first thing is a cardboard box that says 1950s history books, and then in parentheticals underneath it, too racist. Yep. You get a little bit down the airway, the air ducts, and you see another cardboard box that says 1990s history books, and in parentheticals underneath, not racist enough. That is a fucking great joke. Yeah. Oh, I was dying.
And do we see Lisa's teacher and Santa's little helper passed out?
Passed out in the air vents. What's
going on?
Not sure what that's supposed to be. We also see Unter trapped in a spider's web.
Yep.
God, that was funny. So we travel through the air vents to see Bart and Willie both tied to chairs, left there for dead. The bomb is sitting there on the floor, about to go off soon. We got to figure out how we're going to get out of this pickle. Yeah. Bart calls Lisa on the flip phone, like dials it with his tongue or whatever, because he's tied to this chair. And we see a water valve that is used hot dog water, I guess, because it's school, sure.
Recirculated hot dog water. Oh,
God, the idea of hot dog water is, like, those three words all in that order is the grossest shit I can think of. So the fan on the ceiling is going to circulate the stink bomb when it goes off, so we need to take out the fan, and we're going to do that by flooding the room with the hot dog water.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what they decide to do. They end up, I don't remember how they bust that fucking valve open, but they do. Anyway.
That's something that's done, like, via remote, like via computer, I think.
No idea.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've missed a million things that ultra uber Simpsons fans are screaming at right now, but I'm doing the best I can. we get an amazing scene of remorseful Martin, like lit real dramatically in this golden hour sunset lighting, and he slides a chair over and steps up on it and then kicks the chair out, and you see his feet dangling, and then the camera pans back and he's hung his own wedgie on a coat hook.
He wedged himself.
Oh God,
And
that was funny.
Before it, he lays out his hall monitor sash because he's not fit to wear it anymore.
But he does put it on and then stands proudly on the chair to do his last dark deed. God damn it, that was funny.
That was good.
So we bust open that hot dog water valve, the room floods, and then so the room floods. So Bart is suspended in water, drowning, clearly, and he gets to a window of the gym where the bake sale is, and Marge sees him and fucking discus tosses this horrible cake that she's baked and burnt and breaks the window open, which floods the gym and saves Bart's life.
Floods it in hot dog water.
He was about to drown. Lisa gets a hold of the bomb then and disarms it, which is just a big red button that says cancel. So she hits that, disarms the bomb. The stink bomb does not go off. We're all having a, hey, we did it moment, which is when Jack Bauer comes bursting into the gym with all of these government agents, and a helicopter crashes through the side of the gym. Like everyone, all these badasses descend upon the entire fucking gym, and Bauer talks about how I called in every favor with every government agency I had because Bart had given him the prank phone call earlier. And then a nuclear explosion goes off in the distance behind him, and everyone is shocked, and he goes, that's okay. That was Shelbyville. And everybody laughs, and that's the end.
Fun episode.
Oof. I really liked that episode. That is a hard one to recap on a podcast.
There's the whole other story, all the antics that Milhouse and Homer get into. There's a lot going on at once.
Like, boy, howdy, that was a long one, and thanks for sticking with us, but god damn it, that was a fun episode.
At one time, I think maybe Milhouse is losing faith that they can make it to the bake sale. And Homer's like, old Betsy will get us there. They've now named the dumpster.
They've named the dumpster. At one point, it goes through a car wash with them in it. Like, at one point, Homer, puts a banana peel on his head to make it look like blonde hair and flirts with Wiggum to let them get by. It was a lot. A fucking lot was going on in that episode.
There's some good gags.
And I'll be honest, all of the positive word of mouth, all the positive things I've ever read about 24, nothing has ever made me want to watch 24 like this episode. Genuinely. I might fire it up.
I've heard it just seems like it's good. Edge of your seat, keep you engaged. So many things going on at once.
Yeah, I'm vaguely curious to start 24 now. Although I just restarted Dragon Ball Z, so I think all of my viewing time is claimed for the next year.
That's a lot of content, I'm assuming too.
Yeah. There's a lot of episodes of
making that show for a hot minute.
Dragon Ball Z.
So we're up to the final episode of season 18, episode 22. You can't always get what you want. I see what you did there, Simpsons.
You can't always say what you want.
Say what you want.
Come on.
Ooh, I got tripped up there. We get a 20-year flashback to one of the original short episodes. What's the reasoning? Is this like a...
This is the intro. Instead of doing a real intro, they do this.
Yeah.
This is in celebration... Even though next episode will be our 400th episode, this is the 400th episode of The Simpsons.
Because of the Michael Jackson one.
Because of the Michael Jackson one, you and I are one behind. Because that one's not on Disney+. But this is their 400th episode.
That adds up. There we go.
And I have a question for you.
Yes.
I didn't bother looking this up. Maybe I should have. Is this actually the old Tracy Ullman animation? Or is this what was at the time new animation done in that same style?
Oh, good question.
Because I think it looks too good to be actual old animation.
I wonder.
They for sure did old voice acting, because it's either a different Homer or it's that same guy doing a different voice for Homer.
I would guess it's maybe an original that was like touched up a bunch.
Yeah, that could be that it's old but been cleaned up. I could see that. But I had the same question while watching this intro, like, boy, it looks too good to be that old.
Yeah. Now that you say that makes sense. My guess, though, it is original, just been...
It was jarring either way, because I was not ready for that. I was like, oh, yeah, this show used to look like dog shit.
And how, like, Lisa was shitty like Bart, you know?
Both the kids suck. It was cool to see. Cool intro.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So once the actual episode starts, it begins with Marge and Maggie visiting Patty and Selma. They're playing
Pictionary.
And Marge and Maggie have this weird, almost supernatural connection where Maggie can just doodle nonsense and Marge knows it immediately.
It's almost like ESP, like that weird connection twins have.
And then Maggie draws it. It's like, and Marge's like, "Oh my goodness, I forgot. We have to meet the kids because we have to bring them to a dental appointment. The car won't start." She's like, "Oh no! Like we'll use Homer's AAA card. I think it was applesauce. Was it applesauce appreciation association?
Yeah,
or something ridiculous." And she just angrily throws that in the back and takes off on foot. And we get a weird music. Like like something that seems like it's from a Coen Brothers movie.
I was about to say, did you get it?
Is it from Raising Arizona?
It is Raising Arizona. Look at you
go.
There
we go. Yep. It literally just came to me now. It didn't come to me. I just kept thinking, what Coen Brothers is this from? But like,
there's only like 2 running on foot accompanied by music references you can make, and it's Raising Arizona and Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
They make another one in an earlier several seasons ago on The Simpsons. It's almost a whole episode. It's based off the German movie Run Lola Run.
Oh yes, even the title of the episode I think is called like Run Lisa Run or something like that. Yep.
So, and I enjoy it. There's a lot of good sight gags.
With that yodeling the whole time.
Yeah,
I have not seen Raising Arizona in a long fucking time. That's a good-ass movie.
I remember it being on cable when I was a little kid, and then I probably saw it once 20 years ago when I was like late teens, early 20s, sometime in there.
I like that during that scene, Hans Moleman is a trucker now.
Yeah,
we have not seen Hans Moleman in a long time.
Yeah. And she just perfectly slides under a semi. Not easy to do.
No.
Yeah. And we get, there's several good gags. She has to run through like a very active parade.
Yeah. And a pool party at somebody's house. And she's running on top of their heads.
She goes into the sewers where we get another gag of her, right? And we see fucking Barney's down there like, "Hey, Marge."
Passed out in the sewer.
Yeah, that was a good gag. But that was a very good beginning intro scene.
Yeah.
And they rush in. I think it's Lovejoy's wife tries to interrupt her about some gossip.
Yeah, I got some hot gossip, and she just like
stiff arms,
fucking Heisman poses her.
And dives through the window to be sitting on the couch calmly as the kids come home from school.
Yeah.
And Bart's excited because Mom promised we get to go ride dirt bikes in a cemetery.
God damn it. That's such a funny mom lie.
Yeah. Like, why in a cemetery? And then Lisa's like, "Bart, did you honestly?" And then Homer bursts in on a dirt bike. Like, are you guys excited?
We get to go ride dirt bikes at a cemetery.
Oh, God, yeah. This is good, dumb Homer. I got a big kick out of that.
This did remind me that I need to go to the dentist.
Yeah.
I am well past due for a dentist visit.
So they get to the dentist, and Homer does not like the dentist. He screams. And right away, she hasn't even started flossing. He's like, "Well, the window was open and some fresh air hit my gums." Like, that's not a good sign.
Man, your gums are in bad shape if a breeze will set them off.
Hot take alert. I enjoy getting flossed at the dentist office. I kind of like that because they really get in there. They dig.
See, I'm like a normal person, and I hate everything about the dentist, you lunatic.
I'm at a point, And I've had all sorts of shit done to my teeth. Chopped and swerved and just carved up. And yeah, doesn't bug me. Like, I'm so used to it by now. Like, hey, whatever we're going to do. Give me that fluoride.
Get in there with them fucking metal picks and fuck y'all up.
I can easily fall asleep in a dental chair. Like,
God, not me, man. I need, like, you got to give me the fucking gas for a routine cleaning. I can't take it.
No kidding.
My nerves go spike up. Like, I get horrible fucking anxiety.
Yeah.
Like, I can't handle a dentist.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to put you on the spot here.
Oh, okay.
How often do you go?
You're supposed to go every 6 months.
Yeah.
I go once a year, probably. But I did go a spell of probably 13 years without a dentist.
Maybe not quite that big of a... Oh, damn, it was that big of a gap. From like 13 to 27.
Yeah, mine would have been like 18 to 31. Like, just a horrible fucking stretch. But still, not a cavity in sight.
That's wild.
But, because I take care of my teeth.
Yeah, well, that's a little bit of genetics.
Much like my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. But your eyes are bad, though. You have corrective lenses. There are people that don't
I was making reference to your fucking horror show last week.
And see, where did taking care of your eyes get you? You're wearing glasses just like me.
That's also genetic, like the teeth.
You think that you're going to trick your eyes?
I got so fucking many messages about that dumb shit, Nathan. Can't believe he's not fucking blind.
They're like, God, he's so tough.
Yeah, yep, that's what they said.
I got
Jeez, he's so cool.
So many new fans. How did they get my phone number?
He's a bad boy. He doesn't play by the ocular rules.
Play by current ophthalmology rules.
Asshole. But like,
seems like you're jealous. you want to take the dive into haphazard eye care.
Oh, we can't go down this road again. I'm just gonna get mad again. But after that long stretch away from the dentist, like I go once a year.
Okay.
Now that COVID's over, because I got derailed with COVID, like with most things, derailed from the dentist, but I really should schedule an appointment and then stay on a 6-month plan.
There you go.
Which I intend to do.
What's your wisdom teeth situation?
Still got them. Still got them in my head.
They're gonna talk you into carving them out pretty soon.
For what? I got the room.
You think so?
I do have the room.
Did they? They've told you that?
Yeah. Like I had fucking
they knocked a bunch of your teeth out earlier? Well, that's some people do. Because when they're all bunched up, they just knock a bunch out so they make room.
No, like they're a little tight, especially on the bottom, but like you can still get a strip of floss in there. It's fine. I was told by my orthodontist fucking forever ago, like, no, you'll probably be able to keep them. And I can clean them. Like they're out. They're there.
Out.
Yeah. They're fine. Yeah.
There you go. Well,
I appreciate having too many teeth in my head. I'm like a shark, Nathan. I got too many teeth.
One way to look at it.
Yeah. You know who else kept their wisdom teeth? Freddie Mercury. I am basically Freddie Mercury.
Yes. Yeah. Or Andre the Giant. So many teeth.
I imagine he had rows of teeth like a shark.
Yeah, he did. He just losing teeth. Well, I know he had an abnormal amount of teeth because of his giant head.
Of course he did.
He had like 46 teeth or something outrageous.
That's insane.
Like 14 molars on each side of his head. Eating whole loaves of bread at once.
Good for him.
Yeah, good. Yeah, hope he enjoyed all those teeth. So Homer is really making a scene at the dentist, hooting and hollering.
I love that scene where he's just screaming in the dentist's office, getting tortured, and that little boy out in the waiting room is just terrified and dives out the window.
Yeah, and the mom is like, "Don't worry, he probably has like abnormal tooth issues," and he's like, "And I have normal.
I don't even have abnormal tooth issues." Yeah. God, that was funny.
So as they talk about, I love the clean, I do too. I love the clean feeling of leaving the dentist after a good cleaning. And they're all like, "You're right, Mom." And father say, "Let's go get ice cream."
Yeah,
like,
let's ruin it right away.
And Homer's like, "I'm going to seal my mouth shut with butterscotch."
I can't let you drive past the amazing educational video that they make Lisa watch at the dentist, which is like, it's made to be cool for kids. And it's called Menace Tooth Society, where it's all hip hop and Ludacris is there. Like there's all these gangsters that are gingivitis and tooth decay and shit with Uzis shooting up the
periodontal disease. Yeah.
And then Ludacris, played by Ludacris, shows up and saves the teeth.
Yep.
God damn it,
that was enjoyable. So when they're getting ice cream, Homer orders a cone of some type, and a banner drops a confetti because he's ordered the 1 millionth cone at this place.
Is this a thing that's just on TV?
You know, I feel like I've seen a newspaper article about someone ordering the 500,000th submarine sandwich at a Subway somewhere.
Okay.
But it definitely shows up more in fiction than in reality.
Yes.
And I do like that Homer at one point is going to change his mind. You know, actually, I think I'd prefer a waffle. Though that Bart chastises him, like, get the cone. And I don't even know if he really gets a prize, but he ends up on the local news. And Kent Brockman mutters about we can't discuss the real issues, but here we go with this story of complete inconsequential, and it's interviewing Homer about getting the 1 million. Which, what a boring interview!
Yeah,
I just wanted some ice cream, and I guess I got the millionth cone. That's where that story ends.
Yeah, what more do you want out of him?
You know? And where the episode turns is Homer's gesticulating with his hands, and he knocks hot coffee into Kent Brockman's lap. And he lets out some kind of curse word.
I think it's motherfucker.
You think so?
Is what was in my head anyway, because this time and the other time that they say it but cover it up, it's 4 syllables. And how many swears do you know that have 4 syllables that aren't motherfucker?
That is a very good point.
Unless it's a combination.
Yeah,
unless it's shit fuck cunt bitch, which I don't.
Bad name. Bad name. Tough to get on MTV with that name, but who needs that in today's
Tough to
market?
move merch. Yeah. But you just do it in that death metal font that you can't read anyway. So.
Yep. And he immediately knows he goofed up, and he's asking around. He's like, "Oh, nobody watches your show anyhow." And he's pretty dodge a bullet, but he still apologizes on air. He's very professional about it. So he's pretty much thinking, lucked out. And then he's like, they're basically making fun of the people that tried to get the Simpsons off the air. At this point, 18 years prior. It's like, well, who could have that much time on their hands that they have nothing better to do than to watch network television and to find things to complain about? Cut to Ned Flanders in the dark with a mountain of VHS tapes. He's writing which ones can be watched and which ones can't. And it's the cannot watch is a mountain. The can is 700 Club. What's on the other VHS tape?
I forget what it is, but it's something equally vanilla.
It's not even that good of a gag, but the gag is what's left for them to watch.
These fucking Christian watchdog groups are a real thing.
Yeah,
I can totally believe it.
What a thing.
I was about to say, I can't believe it, but no, totally. Yeah, that checks out.
Yep. Oh my God,
the fundamentalist Christian wing of America.
Do we hear much about that anymore? That the super...
No, I feel like it probably hasn't gone away, but we probably don't hear about it as much anymore.
I think a big part of it too is today's youth, which that's what everyone wants to hear, is a 40-year-old man without kids talk about today's youth. But mass media isn't that big of a thing. They're social media people, they're TikTok and they're this and they're that. And with TikTok and shit like that, there's not one culprit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And they certainly do report on that shit. We just lived through 5 fucking years of needing to report everything that Trump tweets ever. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They report on the social media. This fucking awful TikTok trend is targeting your teens. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I guess in that way, they've kind of gone that way.
And then whoever they're aiming at, it's who do you go after? The 700 dipshits on social media that shove Tide Pods up their butt? That's not how that worked. That's not how that they ate them, did they?
Tide Pod Bird Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Band name. But yeah, so it's
You and I got to learn how to play some instruments.
Yeah, right. But it's just hard to find the villain when the villain is some dopey 17-year-old kid in his basement.
Yeah.
You know, when it's how do you put Superhuman on trial? You know,
do you just skip him and put ICP on trial?
Right, yeah.
Or Mick Foley? Yeah. Boy, good Superhuman pull.
I watched it earlier today. I do about every 6 months to catch up. I'm like, what's going to be the real good stuff?
Man, watching that skinny little pud swan dive onto a microwave will make me laugh every time.
It's funny. He can add more and more. Now it's bricks, lots of barbed wire, and like colorful things. The simplicity of watching a challenged young man jump onto a microwave. That microwave doesn't give an inch.
No, microwave went into business for itself big time.
The noise that came out, there's a noise someone makes when they truly hurt themselves. I've only heard it a few times. Like when you make a bad fall, it's like, I remember as a kid, you tensed up like, oh shit, that kid's hurt. And like he made that noise, like a weird, sharp exhale bark sound. Like man, yeah, that's the internet was that might have a peak that day, but it was pretty damn good.
Thank God for the internet.
Yeah. So Ned, of course, he caught Ken cussing, and he is, of course, outraged, and he sends out an email to all the other meddlers. Like,
there's an amazing quote right here where he's sending out his email to all his other Christian warriors to fucking take down Kent Brockman. The boys, Rod and Todd, walk in. They're like,
yep.
What are you doing, Daddy? And Ned, never taking his eyes from the monitor, says, and I wrote this down word for word, I'm imploring people I never met to pressure a government with better things to do to punish a man who meant no harm for something no one even saw. Fuck, that's so good.
The 1-2 punches that line, followed with one of the boys nervously saying, Daddy, we think you need a new mommy. God, I LOL'd hard at that. That might have been my biggest laugh of this match, was that whole interaction.
Oh,
but yeah,
God.
Ned not looking up is what made it too. Just
yeah,
like having
never
that
takes his eyes
right
off the
the
screen.
top of his head.
Never stops typing either.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it, that's so funny.
So now, of course, all the Christian rabble-rousers getting Kent Brockman in trouble, even though he apologized. And they claim that they defend their reporters, but then they just dream up that he has a cocaine issue, and that's how they're able to justify getting rid of him.
Well, first they bump him down to weekend weather, which is fun.
Yeah.
And that there's that fucking amazing scene that happens on air where he's replaced by Arnie Pie, who takes over.
Yeah.
Like Arnie, who we've not seen.
Eye in the Sky, Arnie Pie.
Eye in the Sky, Arnie Pie.
Yep.
We haven't seen him in like 10 fucking seasons.
Yeah, he's reveling in it.
Yeah, because he's always had that disdain for Kent Brockman.
Yeah.
And he takes his place.
So that's pretty inglorious end, and now he's basically out on his ass, and like we have seen a million times, it's even joked about in this episode that the Simpsons take him in, and we see a wall of pictures of all the people that have stayed,
like headshots in a comedy club.
Yep, exactly. I gotta there's some you forget, like Otto. I think was that the marriage one where Otto stayed there for a while.
Yeah, there's an Otto one. There's Apu.
Yeah,
Homer even says Apu sang a song. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
There's Gil, who we saw last season or earlier this season. I don't know. Time isn't real.
Yeah.
God, yeah, that was super fun. And there's like a dozen of them.
I was gonna say 12 of them up there at least.
Yeah, it's I for sure wrote down as soon as Kent wakes up on the Simpsons couch and you see that he's staying with them, I'm like, of course he's staying at the Simpsons. And then that scene happened, and I was like, okay, they know.
Yeah, they know that this is worth making a joke about.
Yeah.
So while he's there, he's kind of down in his dumps. And it's around that time, kind of Lisa kind of introduces him to like news on the internet and And they end up creating like a YouTube video, actually they're spurred on by watching TV, and they see there's some ridiculous ad for it's like strippers becoming airline pilots or something that.
It's a new Fox show called Landing Strip, where they make strippers run an airplane.
And Lisa's like, why would a conservative news network run all of this salacious material? And Kent's like, well, everyone knows that it's this. And it's something like, well, they take the FCC fines and they funnel that towards some very nefarious plot.
That's how they funnel their money to the Republican Party is by airing salacious material and then paying the fines to the FCC, which then get funneled to the Republican Party.
And then
there are some fucking Fox News dunks in here.
And they get this the changing of the channels and Homer is just a total mark for it. It's like liberals, and then he's like drooling at the half naked women, then back to the Rush Limbaugh character, back to the women, and that's when Lisa's like, we need to put out get this online. And Kent is very skeptical, like, well, how would this work? I'm like, well, trust me, the internet, this and that. And Kent's like, what do I gotta lose? So I know that there's a joke that he's trying to make. Like a joke they're trying to make while he's smoking with black and white. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a good night and good luck.
Yeah, I don't know that that's meant to be something specific.
I think it's supposed to be like an old 1960s. I can't think of the guy that Good Night and Good Luck's based off of, but yeah, I think that's supposed to be based off an old news anchor of yore that kind of where he would kind of talk about the real things and not follow the company line. It was kind of how that worked. Okay. And it catches on, and he becomes an internet sensation. And they walk down the streets, and all the hipsters on the step. Yeah. And hipster isn't defined enough at this point, at least to the Simpsons writers, because they're still kind of more hippie than hipster.
Yep, they're a little hippie, but you can tell that they're close.
Yep, that's right. Yep,
this is 2007. You can tell that they're we're right on the cusp. Probably 3 years later, they have big ironic curly mustaches. You know what I mean? But as of now, they're still 90s hippies, kind of drug rug sort of hippies. Yeah, it's a weird time right now.
One of the jack of all trades voice people needs to learn to do a hippie or a hipster voice. A hippie voice. That's where they're kind of stuck now. And Kent's getting cred, and Lisa of course loves it because she's a do-gooder. And that's when the Republican overlords find out about it. And we get back, we see it's basically Frankenstein's castle. Yeah. And speaking of monsters, I like how Count Chocula or Dracula's there. And they're and he has this plan of how they can do things. And then I think it's the Texas oil man, you can't even get our pizza order right. He's like, everyone wants half everything.
He's so complicated.
He's very flustered by the pizza orders, which I enjoyed.
I like that, during this whole scene, he makes two suggestions, and they're both Dracula related. I could bite their neck, or
follow them around.
Follow them around as I change into a bat. This is the worst Dracula impression that anyone's ever done. Is what I'm doing right now. And both times he's so immediately shot down that you can imagine that the only ideas he has are Dracula related, and that they always shut him down because they're tired of hearing them. And I really laughed at that.
Yep.
I built my entire own headcanon around that scene.
So they come up with a plan. They cut to Kent and Lisa on the street, and they're both very excited about what the future holds for their show and this and that. And that's when a van pulls up. The Republicans pile out. And they're like, hey, how would you like your old show back? Plus 50% pay raise. And Lisa just expects him to say, no way, And then he's like, Lisa, could you close your eyes for 2 seconds? And she does. Okay. And she opens her eyes, and the van is peeling out, and he's sticking out of the top of it,
with a bottle of champagne. And he goes, I held out as long as I could.
Because Kent Brockman, not a good man.
Oh,
never has been.
No, and a money-hungry man. Yep. So.
And then it ends with Lisa kind of, downtrodden at the kitchen table. And that's when her and Homer get into talking about Fox News and this and that, and they're just like, well, here's something I heard that he doesn't even know about, and then it's just a real rough edit of like obviously not Homer's voice. It's like Fox actually, it's like provides quality family content with popular new shows such as, and then when Lisa talks, it's a gruff edit to a voice that's obviously not Lisa. So that was fun, and it goes, they run.
It goes
with it,
a while,
yeah.
And then Homer, like as they keep going, Homer like takes a big deep breath in to reveal some hard shit, and it cuts to the 20th Century Fox logo. Yeah. Like there's a couple good bits there.
I think he walks out with it's like a white background. Mm-hmm. And then it cuts to like the Gracie films.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. There was some funny shit at the end of there. A lot of funny shit dunking on Fox News and the Fox network as a whole. Like some good stuff there.
Yep. Enjoyable episode.
I like
definitely.
that one.
You know how much deep diving I did into the 2007-2008 primetime television schedule?
It is that time because we're skipping from one season to the next. Season 18 to season 19.
Burst into fall of 2007, just blasting hard into it, just going for it. Where are you at, fall of 2007? You're spinning records?
Yeah, it's 2007. I am slumming it in a fucking tiny shithole apartment, working in radio for no money. I don't have a lot going on. Not a lot of like expungible funds for my spare time. I'm pretty positive that I'd have been living in the worst apartment of my life, which was about the size of my kitchen, which doesn't do much for the listeners, but I'm going to say 14 by 10, tile floor, drain in the floor,
nice.
Cinder block walls,
better.
Centipedes,
ooh.
Black mold.
Nice.
Yeah, horrible. Exposed pipes. If I had wanted to hang myself, it was real bad.
Taunting you almost.
Real bad times. The washer worked, the dryer did not. So I hung all my clothes from those
clean yet musty boy.
Yep, I hung all of my clothing from those exposed pipes. Yeah, it was a rough time, but I look back fondly.
Okay,
kind of.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
How about you? What are you doing in the fall of 07?
God, life gets depressing the older you get. Like there's less milestones, I'm probably, this is around the time I took after finish, because I took a marathon to finish undergrad. So I'm probably the year or so between graduating undergrad and going to grad school, living with a buddy and his girlfriend. I had a pretty sweet, financially at least, I think maybe I've discussed on here before, but him and I and his girlfriend shared a 2-bed, 2-bath setup. So I had my own bathroom, my own garage.
Nice.
And my rent, we split $575 three ways.
Oh, boy.
It's like $190 a month rent. It was
amazing.
So tits.
Here in Fargo?
In Fargo.
Okay.
Here. Yep. So great. Such a great, that way it was awesome. And then besides that, working in a garbage customer service job of some note.
Answering phones?
Yep, answering phones, dialing for dollars. Actually, I didn't dial. They called us. They assaulted us. And that was it. You're going to get a lot of that in these upcoming seasons.
I like how in the early episodes of this show, it was a lot of like, I had just graduated the fucking 10th grade.
My nuts dropped. I could impregnate things. Now it's just the slow decline as our bodies betray us.
Yeah.
Getting fatter, getting sadder. On to the next question.
Yeah, man, fucking 50 episodes ago on this show, it was like, I was fresh out of high school.
I learned how to drive.
Like we are getting further away from our roots as this show goes.
Smooch.
Like we haven't cracked a lot of jokes about the shithole turned over wagon I went to high school in a long time.
To quote Trace Adkins, Tracy, who sang Time Marches On, goddammit?
Tracy Lawrence.
Tracy Lawrence. I knew it was a Tracy.
Come on.
Yep.
Oh, God. I have to derail this for just a second.
Okay. Derail away.
I was at a hockey game last night.
Tracy Lawrence was performing.
Nope, not sadly. He and his mustache were nowhere to be seen. I went to 2 hockey games this weekend, by the way.
Peculiar.
We have, the USHL HLA.
That
We have some manner of minor league hockey in Fargo, and I went to 2 of their games this weekend. While I was at one of the hockey games, they're playing music during fucking timeouts and whatnot, as they do at a hockey game. I heard Brooks and Dunn's Neon Moon.
what a banger.
But it had this like hip hop beat underneath it.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking
I'm
about.
aware. Yep.
What the fuck? Why?
I think that might have came from a meme.
Why is that real?
Yep. I don't know. The internet's an amazing place.
But yeah, and that's all it is. It is just the song, but with a hip hop beat underneath it. And a friend of mine who I was with was like, "Yeah, you haven't seen this? It's on TikTok."
Yeah.
She pulls up her TikTok, and there are hundreds of thousands of people doing this specific dance
Yep.
to this hip hop Neon Moon. I gotta say, that song slaps. Like, I'm pretty into the hip hop version of Neon Moon.
I haven't heard the hip hop version enough to have an opinion, but I just think the original is so undeniable.
I fucking don't like the original at all.
God.
Like, in the pantheon of Brooks and Dunn songs, which I don't really like, it's up there.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean a lot coming
Yeah.
from somebody that doesn't like the rest of their catalog. So, like, fuck a Boot Scootin' Boogie, fuck a My Maria. Like, I'm not a fan.
See, I'm a fan of the, because he only sings like 1 out of 7 or 8 tracks. I like the couple Kix Brooks singles.
Usually Ronnie is taking the lead.
Ronnie's usually taking the lead. Kix saying, "You better kiss me because you're gonna miss me when I'm gone." That's a good, slow.
don't know that one.
Slow country, mid-90s country weeper.
I
you
really
like a good country weeper.
You love a country weeper. Good band name. Usually Ronnie Dunn took the lead. I admittedly only know the hits and don't really like any of them.
Really?
So
there's a deep cut single, which I don't know if that might be an oxymoron or a term that doesn't make sense. A deep cut, one of the later singles off of, I think, Brand New Man, their debut album, where Kix Brooks takes lead vocals. I think the song is called Lost and Found. That's a good country song.
title track from that album isn't bad.
Yep. Yeah. Hardworking Man. Not
It's
a bad
okay.
single. Yeah.
Like,
or no, Brand New Man is the opening. That was also a single title track. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Hardworking Man on the next album was also a single. Yeah. I think I prefer Brand New Man over Hardworking Man.
I don't mind Brand New Man.
Yep.
It's fine.
Brand New Man. That's a solid
I'm
song.
not a Brooks and Dunn guy.
I don't know. I like them more than a lot of the shit that came, but I didn't go out of my way. I own the first couple on cassette.
If you put Brooks and Dunn and Montgomery Gentry
Brooks and
at
Dunn.
the bottom of a pit with a broken beer bottle, who would emerge alive?
There wouldn't be a piece of Montgomery Gentry left big enough to bury in my head.
Wow.
I don't like barely
Well,
anything.
to be fair, Montgomery Gentry is down a man at this point.
Right? Yeah, it's
It's a handicap match.
Yeah, and Montgomery Gentry comes later on in life. Enough of that wasn't part of my childhood.
Yep, two separate things. It's just the only other country duo I could think of off the top of my
Judds.
head.
You get Winona.
You know what? I'd
and
watch
Naomi.
that too.
Yeah.
You want to get me to root for Brooks and Dunn?
Yeah.
It's during that broken bottle match.
Yeah,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
I could give a fuck about the Judds.
Oh, there's a few Judds tracks I like, but yeah.
Not a lot of country duos. Double Trouble, but that's kind of a super group.
Later on in country music history, there was that dipshit Big and Rich stuff.
Oh, fuck those clowns.
Yeah, I want to.
Same with Florida Georgia Line. Fuck them too.
Oh, yeah, they're a duo too.
They're a
You're
duo,
right.
yeah.
I want to see Ronnie Dunn do that spinning pile driver Zangief style to the dipshit and Big and Rich that wears the silly hat. Just fucking 80% of his power bar gone, one move. Like, dumb.
It's moments like these where I wish I had any abilities or talent in like graphics and animation because I want to watch that.
Zangief with Ronnie Dunn's head spinning, I don't know, whoever, Ryu with the top hat dude's head on it.
Any listener who has a shred of photoshopping talent, please make that happen.
You angel. If you were to do it, whoever's listening right now. I wonder what our European listeners are like, who is Big and rich.
We have an Irish listener right now who for sure is like, what the fuck? What is a Montgomery Gentry? That sounds like a car.
Or like a bad guy in a Civil War movie.
Oh, shit.
So the Simpsons are in season 19.
Right. Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else is all going on at this point. They are pretty much surrounded. We've reached that point too. We just get the usual suspects because there's so many hits right now.
There's no more Babes. There's no more Drexel's Class.
We get a couple randos in the mix because, like, when shows are this successful, they try to throw shit against the wall that hopefully they can glom onto the success of these shows.
Yeah.
There was a rando reality show called Don't Forget the Lyrics, which I'm sure the name
hosted by Mark McGrath.
Yep.
I do remember that.
And, they're bringing it back, hosted by Niecy Nash of Reno 911 fame. They're bringing it back like this year probably. After like a 9-year break.
I like a music game show. I really liked to Name That Tune when that was on.
So that was during this time. And apparently it lasted a couple seasons, but it hopped around a lot because it doesn't really fit in with the Sunday animation night on Fox.
Yeah.
And another thing, they aired 2 seasons of a show called Till Death, which was a family dynamic sitcom starring Brad Garrett.
Yes.
And I think her name is Jolie Fisher, who was in a lot of successful sitcoms.
That would have been after Everybody Loves Raymond, and let's see if we can make Brad Garrett a star.
And it's one of those shows that it made 4 full seasons.
Yeah, all on Fox?
It must have been, yeah.
Okay.
Like, who was watching? When was it on? But I think if you hit 4 seasons, you're not quite to the 100 episode sweet spot where you start making the big syndication money.
Yeah, I think you need 5 seasons.
Yep. It's fairly
for the most
early
part.
On in season 5, you hit the 100 episode mark.
Yeah, and then you get that syndication money.
Yep. It isn't there's like a pragmatic reason why they like that is because of that many episodes. They can sell it in a big block. Hey, you can have 3 months of non-reruns if you pay to syndicate this program.
Yeah. Hey, TBS, buy this show and air it.
Hey, random station in Malaysia.
Yeah.
Cut us a check for whatever you can find. We don't care. We just want a little extra scratch here.
I bet there are 100 sitcoms like Till Death that have gotten at least 4 or 5 seasons that you and I have never heard of or have no memory of.
Oh, yep.
Even shows that I know are big, like King of Queens. I've never seen an episode. I know that that's a huge show.
I guarantee I've seen 10 or fewer.
Yeah.
And of those 10, I probably didn't see the whole episode. I mean, I assume I didn't like that show, but Kevin James is funny. Leah Remini, whatever her name, I'm not pronouncing that right, but you know who I'm talking. The wife, they're fine actors.
She's a looker.
Yeah.
Patton Oswalt was on that show. Fucking Jerry Stiller was on that show.
Yep.
Like,
there's
some talent on that
Yep.
show, and have never seen a shred of it. Kevin James, I'm going to say it. Better than he gets credit for. Yep. Oh, yeah. I'm going to say he's better than he gets credit for. I've only seen one stand-up special of his. I think it's called Sweat the Small Stuff. That's very funny.
It's very good. Yep. He discusses the people that don't know proper telephone number rhythm.
Yes. That's a great bit.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Yep. Yeah. And that's how you have to say a phone number. He also talks about, he has a bit about, now this is just Kevin James podcast, but he also talks about pizza math. When you're sitting around with a bunch of friends with a pizza and calculating in your head who has had how many slices and who still gets to have another slice. Your 4 friends, there's 8 slices. You're counting in your head how many that fucker had. And if he reaches for a third one, I'm going to stab him,
This is a different pizza gripe, but one thing when it's like a group of people that want pizza, the people that like someone that I want pineapple and butterscotch morsels.
Eat my whole ass.
Yeah, man.
You're part of a group.
Yeah. Do you dislike pepperoni? No. Well, then eat pepperoni, man.
Yeah.
Eat pepperoni all goddamn day.
Listen, I also like weird pizzas. Yeah. I also like Pineapple and jalapeno. That's one of my go-to pizzas. I adore it. It's delicious. Hot and sweet together. I would never once in a group be like, we should get that. Because what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, get a normal something everybody likes.
Or I would float it. And as soon as, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. This is an oddball decision of choice.
See, you go a step further than me. I would never even bring it up.
I'd float it just for the one in a million. Everyone's like, holy shit, I like that too. Let's do it. You know, like... But as soon as it got shot down, I'm trying to think of what would be a squirrely pizza choice I might choose. I'm pretty basic bitch. I'm a pepperoni sausage guy.
Honestly, if you're ordering pizza from let's say a chain pizza restaurant, they don't have anything that I won't eat.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm a fucking wild bitch when it comes to food. Period.
Just fucking scatter on some crayons. I don't give a shit. Just fucking color that bitch up. I want to get sick. Punish me. That's a good thing to say to the teenager working the phones at a Domino's. Punish me, daddy.
What do you want on your pizza? Anything, daddy.
You make the decisions. I'm the baby. I'm gonna call a manager.
Oh God! Get them crayons on there. You want purples? Yeah, anything from the aubergine family. Fucking give it to me. That is a reference for one person.
And it's funny we're discussing this because in the grand scheme of what's going on in television at this time, King of Queens is officially off the air after like a decade run of...
Yeah, it was a big show. Yep.
Other shows, there wasn't a lot of bangers that left. Reba had a surprisingly long run.
Boy, in my head, think that show is earlier than this.
Yeah, it was like from
in my head that showed up in like 98 for one season.
No, it'd be like, well, I mean, it ran longer than you think. Reba might have done a network hop too. It might have been like a Fox onto WB, but I could be off there too. But like, it was surprising. I think it was one of those shows that like was actually canceled, but they revived it because a bunch of people wrote letters and stuff like that.
Like Family Guy. Yep. Reba and Family Guy are essentially the
Peter
same
Griffith
show.
and Reba.
I'd watch that. She only has one good song, and it's a cover.
Oh, I would have to think more about Reba to say what I don't really got. You're not often going to mention a 90s country artist where I don't have a hot take. I'm pretty blasé about Reba.
Which is strange because she's like the biggest 90s country star there is outside of Garth.
She wouldn't rank in my top 10 favorite 90s country women. She would be far behind the Mary Chapin Carpenter.
Hang on, let me run this by you. I was about to say, fuck you. Reba or Mary Chapin Carpenter?
Oh, Mary Chapin all day, every day.
Reba or Lori Morgan?
Lori Morgan. Oh, I don't have a lot of Lori Morgan. Lori Morgan by a nose.
Reba or Jody Messina?
Jody Messina's a little bit later.
Okay,
so fair. Part of I have no nostalgia pull to Jody Messina.
Oh, okay,
Jody Messina did make out with a roadie in a steak house in my hometown because she played the state fair there.
I'm sorry,
so
what?
Shout out to, for a hot minute in the early aughts, there was a prognosticator that worked for the county fair board that was a wizard at choosing country stars before they'd pop to perform at our county fair. So we got like prime Jody Messina performed in my hometown, and she had no need to at that point, but she did. She did a hell of a job, and she got wasted. She got day drunk and made out with a roadie.
Boy, I am having a hard time coming up with other, because now that
Pam Tillis. Pam Tillis all day, every day. Oh my God, Patty Loveless. I will take Patty Loveless with the flu
Faith
over Reba
Hill, Trisha Yearwood
all day, every day. Faith Hill, we're getting maybe more Reba there. I don't have a whole lot of tie to Faith Hill.
You know who's
Kathy Mattea, underrated. Kathy Mattea, yeah.
I love that you knew where I was going. That I was about to say that I apparently don't know a lot of 90s women country artists, and you just took it from there.
Carlene Carter, Johnny Cash's kind of like half daughter or stepdaughter.
Sure, June Carter Cash.
Yeah. She had a couple jams. I would, her peaks are so much higher. I would take her over Reba. Well, that's a hot take. That's a mid-90s lady hot country take right there. Carlene Carter over Reba McEntire.
I wish everyone could have seen you with your hands up in the don't shoot pose, like, whatever, motherfuckers, deal with it.
Carlene Carter was supposed to be destined for stardom in the mid to early 80s, but she became fond of using the line, I'm going to put the cunt in country. They don't like that in Nashville. They don't want you talking like that.
That line would later be stolen, apparently, by Hank the Third.
Yeah, that was Carlene Carter dropping that kind of science.
Well, apparently she's the OG, and fucking Hank 3's a fucking pretender.
Yeah, and I know I'm forgetting other 90s country women that there's some deep cuts like Michelle Wright, Canadian songbird Michelle Wright. Take it like a man, steady and strong.
That sounds like a song about pegging.
Yeah, right? Yeah, no, well.
If we're being honest.
Ooh. Maybe she was way ahead of her time.
Good for her.
You had Katie Oslin, I think her name was.
Nothing says country like strapping it on. That's on my demo tape for the CMT voice actor role. You want to be the voice of CMT?
Reba McEntire, though, had that. It wasn't a hit, but I think it was a single. It was like She Thinks His Name Was John or something like that.
That song is a fucking rough one.
Which I'll give her for that. Like singing about AIDS from Casual Sex and early 90s country music.
That song's about a woman who has a one-night stand with some fucking carny and gets AIDS.
Hey, shout out to Reba. She could have played it safe. But nope, I hope she slammed her fist out. We're doing the AIDS song.
We're doing the AIDS
Just
song.
bullying an intern.
To be clear, the only good Reba McEntire song is The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia.
Yeah, I don't know. She's got She Lies. It's kind of a boring song, but she sings the shit out of, or He Lies, or whatever the fuck it's called. I remember being like 11 years old and like kind of like prodding my dad to get home quick when we're deer hunting because they were announcing they're going to play the new Reba McEntire single on the radio.
Oh, God.
And I wanted to record it on cassette.
Nice. Look at you. That's some gangsta shit.
Maybe go home. And,
the real OG. Yeah. Did you get there? Did you make it?
I think I did. I think I did.
Do you remember what the song was?
I think it was He Lied. Like,
oh, okay.
God, she nails that song, man. Ain't that good of a song? But she sings the shit out of it.
That
and
song's
then
right.
There was the one where she sings the duet, like Does He Love
Does
You?
He Love Her?
Yep. That's a catchy enough song.
Like he loves me.
Yep.
No, who's the other one in that?
Oh, man, she was a dime too. I'm sure fucking 14-year-old me fucking blasted to that. And that was a big enough hit. She spun that off and tried to make a solo career. I think she had one middling hit, and that was the end of it. If I saw the name, I totally recognize it. I feel like Reba, though, was just such a hit machine that I'm forgetting singles of her. And I don't want to blank out while you're talking about the next episode as I'm looking up Reba hits of the early mid-90s. God, Reba had an 80s hit. It's like, when whoever's in New England's through with you, which that's a lot of...
That doesn't sound real.
Yeah, I'm almost sure that was one of her first hits in the 80s. And Reba, I almost give her credit because she was still pulling hits in the early aughts, which, at that point, she was, 20 odd years into her singing career to still be pulling radio hits. That's pretty commendable.
My mom talks about going to a concert when she was either in high school or college, and it was someone. So it's not the Doobie Brothers, maybe the Everett Brothers.
Bellamy Brothers.
Bellamy Brothers. That's probably it.
Mm-hmm. They were road dogs.
Yeah,
they played Botno. They played my hometown.
And like. I don't know that that's actually who it was, but I think that's who it was. And her being in the crowd and being like, yeah, and their fucking opener was some redheaded broad we'd never heard of. It's called Reba McEntire.
No
and
kidding.
We were all like, get this bitch off the stage. We're here to see the Bellamy Brothers.
Yeah, we wanted to, I'm trying to think what their hits were. If I said you had a beautiful body, would you hold it against me? And then
I for a second blacked out and thought you were asking.
Oh, really?
I was like, I mean, probably.
Yeah.
I'm a real slut for a compliment. Linda Davis is the woman who sang on that Reba McEntire duet.
You're right. Yeah, the belly. God, we can't go down the belly.
We can't. No, we absolutely can't. This show is too long already.
I have to drop one more show that did fall off the air in 2007. Not a hit like Reba and King of Queens or the Gilmore Girls. The show that dropped off the air was on ABC. It was called America's Bingo Night.
Listen.
Yep.
Nathan.
How?
I love bingo.
Yep.
I adore it. But
I've never
tell me that is not a show that is just televised bingo.
You summed it up.
Get out of my home.
How? Who green? And this is far enough past the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire craze that
I know what this is.
Do tell.
This is poker. Poker did this.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
2007?
Yeah.
Airing fall of 07, meaning it was probably recorded in early 07 or late 06 at the absolute earliest. This is poker.
Yeah,
Poker did that. Fucking people today are still chasing wanting to be the next poker.
Yeah.
Esports. Street Fighter 5 wants to be the next poker and has wanted to be for 6 fucking years now.
Yeah, that's
poker
interesting.
Did this.
Yep. Because poker's such an easy, it's cheap to film. That makes sense that they all want something like that.
And they all looked for the next thing.
Yeah.
Like all through poker's heyday, they wanted the next thing.
I wonder what poker's ratings are. Oh, they got to be a fraction of what they were in 2004 or 5 was the peak. But it carried on. It was such a mountain. It carried on a few. But ESPN still airs the World Series of Poker.
If you weren't my friend, I wouldn't know that.
Interesting. Okay.
You are my one connection to the world of poker as a whole.
Yeah.
I would have no idea poker is still a thing if I didn't know you.
Oh yeah, it ain't like it used to be, but it's still out there. Yeah. The ESPN 6 and 7s of the world and the Fox Sports,
the Ochos,
Wisconsin, they still like showing late night poker because again, it's easy to make, it's easy to film.
Yep, it's cheap to make.
Bolt in a couple GoPros around the edges of a poker table, let's party.
Yeah, GoPros are cheap.
Yeah. So yeah, but there was a time we may have discussed this on the air that at its peak, reruns of the World Series of Poker were drawing 8 times the viewers of NHL hockey games at ESPN.
Unreal.
And think of the fraction of the money it costs to they've already filmed it. It's done.
Yeah.
To show how much it costs to air an NHL game with as many moving parts and announcers and cameras and everything.
Yeah, after the initial buy-in of buying equipment, your week-to-week filming cost is pretty low.
There is a poker production company based in Fargo called Heartland Poker.
Buddy of mine is it still alive?
I think it maybe
is or was one of the commentators on it.
Okay, yeah.
Also in 2007, Nathan, specifically the fall of 2007, the premiere of season 19 of The Simpsons.
I was wondering what show.
You know how we've always talked about the box set covers and who's on the cover, and as we get deeper, we're going to get deeper and deeper into more obscure characters. You know who's on the cover of season 19?
Who is it?
Homer.
Oh, they went back around.
Right? Fuck that. You got so many characters.
Was it Homer season 5? Man.
I was genuinely upset to learn that.
Disappointing.
Yeah, you got so many characters. Why go back to the well?
Make him has he ever been a character before, like a superhero or something? Make him that.
Yeah, put him in the costume of he's Radioactive Man. Put him in the Radioactive Man costume.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
The only other repeat we've gotten, Sideshow Bob has been on 2.
Interesting.
He was early on as Sideshow Bob, and then a couple seasons ago when he was in Italy. And they did the musical. He's in that costume a couple seasons ago on the cover.
Okay, yeah.
But, come on. You got so many characters. Put Milhouse on one. Put Ralphie on one.
Yeah.
Actually, Ralphie might have been on one.
I hope. I think so. I think you're right.
I think he was.
Right. Milhouse deserves to be.
Yeah. We get, in the intro, a lot of gags that revolve around and I had to look this up because I didn't get any of them. I was like, what the fuck? I had to look it up. These are all gags from the Simpsons movie.
Oh,
which
interesting.
premiered in the summer of 2007. Which I am saying to you as if you didn't already know that, as if we hadn't already talked about that. But yeah, these are all gags from the movie.
The chalkboard gag was something about the movie too.
Yeah,
We
the
won't wait
chalkboard
20
gag is like,
years to make a
I
movie
I won't wait 20 years to make a movie again or something like that. We get into the meat of the episode. Burns is out buying a cell phone. He fucking gets caught in the fountain. He reaches for a penny, and he's so boneless that he's sucked into the mechanizations of the fountain and spit out of it for several cycles. God damn it, do I love Mr. Burns.
As do I.
Homer saves him from the fountain, and in return, Burns is going to take Homer out to dinner in Chicago on his private plane.
Yeah.
And man, a private plane looks like the best shit
I bet it's pretty cool.
ever.
Yeah.
I hate flying so
Imagine
much.
just going to the private airport next to the giant Nightmare International Airport. That's a thing if you own a plane.
Yeah.
There's a little side airport.
Imagine driving up to the plane.
Yeah. That's
Taking all of your guns and drugs onto the plane.
Yeah. Instead of having to keystrum like we do now.
Yeah, instead of having to cram an entire .357 revolver into your rectum.
One of you has to take this 8-ball. One of you has to take this revolver.
So they're on the private plane. Homer's having sushi. They're watching TV. Lionel Richie is there. At one point, Burns refers to Chicago as the Miami of Canada, and I thought that was so fucking
ridiculous.
funny. You ever been to Chicago?
Driven through it.
Yeah, I stopped at the airport for a layover.
Yeah.
I've heard it's a fun town.
Yeah, it's gigantic.
Yeah, I've
It's a
heard
big
that
old
as well.
city.
They take in some sights. They go to Second City.
Improv do anything for you.
Absolutely not. But to be fair, I've never seen good improv.
Well, I mean, I've seen Whose Line Is It Anyway? Wouldn't that be considered good? I mean, televised improv?
Sure, and I've
And those
seen
guys are
some funny
talented.
bits on there.
I've chuckled.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
It's just,
yeah.
it's not just like sketch comedy's not your preferred form. Improv is certainly not my preferred form of it. It's not how I want to ingest comedy.
I've seen so fucking much bad improv.
Yeah, I think that's what does it.
But it would be nice to see it done live and well. Yeah, which I never.
It'd be cool to go to one of the big city
see somebody do it well.
City,
the Growlings.
UCB.
Yeah, UCB would be a good one. Yeah. That'd be nice. So Homer goes on this trip to Chicago, really enjoys himself, but he gets back home and now he's super depressed because he doesn't know how he'll go back to his regular life before he knew what a private plane was like.
Oh, I don't mean to backtrack too much. I also love during the montage of them two getting their haircut, Burns and Homer, to look like Cam and Ferris from Ferris
That was
Bueller's.
funny. Not just the hair, but the outfits also.
What's his name? The hockey jersey.
The Red Wings jersey.
Ferris with the jacket.
Bueller with the sweater vest. Yeah. The Sausage King of Chicago. I adore that movie. Abe Froman? Marge has taken the initiative and hires a life coach to help Homer out, kind of taking the long road here to get him back to private plane life by coaching him up from nothing until he is such a successful, awesome person that he can afford to fly on private planes again. That's the plan, and it is voiced by Stephen Colbert.
I was going to say a little Colbert here,
whose voice I adore. I really like Stephen Colbert. I watched The Rapport every day religiously for years. I've seen a couple episodes of The Late Show. I'm not really a late night talk show person in general. But to me, Stephen Colbert will always be Phil Ken Sebin from Harvey Birdman, attorney at law.
Yeah. I would say my most fond Stephen Colbert memories are from Strangers with Candy.
See, I've heard that too. I've never seen that show. Is it good?
Infantry.
Does it hold up?
Oh, does it ever?
Okay. All right. Yeah, I've never given it a shot, and I really should.
And I think it's like 3 seasons of like, I don't know, 10 to 12 episodes a season. So it's a quick 22 minutes.
It's got to be streaming somewhere, too.
Yeah,
so I should give that a whirl.
Yeah.
So Stephen Colbert, that's not the character's name, but that's how I'm going to refer to him, is observing and filming Homer, all his habits and mannerisms, and he's doing his life coach thing. In the course of this, he realizes that the only time Homer is successful and happy is when he's bowling.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, Homer is happy and successful when he's bowling. Are you a bowler?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't dislike it, but I'm so bad at it, it takes the joy out of it.
Likewise, I'm so bad at it that I don't enjoy it.
Yep.
See also golf. So life coach Stephen Colbert tells Homer that he should wear his bowling shoes everywhere in order to keep that positive energy going, and that'll hopefully translate into success outside of the bowling alley for Homer. So that's the plan. Homer applies for a job at a copper tubing company because they have a private plane. That's kind of the only reason. And they're looking for a safety inspector to fly around the country inspecting their copper tubing, and they have a private plane for that. So that's how we're going to get Homer back to the PP life.
Yeah.
The copper tubing company, owned by the, or maybe not owned by, the CEO is the Texas Oil Man, which is fun.
Yeah.
Homer goes in and does the interview. We don't immediately see how that went. We see it later. Homer has not gotten the job, but he lies to his family and says that he has. And so he's got the tie, the suit, and goes out, okay, bye, I'm leaving for my new job, first day, and then goes and sits the Krusty Burger all day, which is real sad.
I wonder if that's based off of, there was a Family Annihilator who did that.
A what?
That's a subsect of true crime. It's people that murder their entire family.
Oh.
And he put on airs at a nice house. They had they had all the finest things, and he lost his job. He didn't tell his wife, but every morning he'd wake up, put a suit on, and just go sit at like the bus station or sit and drink coffee for 8 hours and come home. And he was like, behind the scenes, he was like draining his elderly mother of all of her money. And then finally one time it came to a head, and he just murdered his family of 7 and got away with it for like the better part of 30 odd years. He became like a fry cook at like a ski lodge in Colorado and met another woman.
Oh, that's when he decided to get a job? He could have just done that before.
Yeah. Well, he was an accountant, and he thought he was too good for lesser work, and
until he was a murderer,
until
then he
on
decided
the lam.
to slum it.
Yeah, until he was on the lam, and he was one of the big fish ever caught on that America's Most Wanted.
Ah,
yeah, he was one of the first real big fish caught on that show.
Family Annihilator.
And he was so meticulous. Like, he called all of like the kids' teachers and said they have a family emergency. So and so's my wife's mother-in-law. We're going to be gone for like weeks, and he paid all of the bills way in advance and stuff. And he set the lights up so they weren't all on, but they weren't all off too. So if you're just to drive by, oh, there's a couple bedroom lights on, whatever.
You'd have never thought of it, yeah.
And it was like the daughter's drama teacher, because she had said a couple things about my dad's going off the rails, and he finally was like, he drove by and saw the same lights were always on, and he went in and they were all laid like 7 ducks in a row, right?
Jesus Christ.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't think that's where this episode's going, but I don't want to derail it.
Is Family Annihilator a real term?
That's a real. If you listen to enough true crime, Family Annihilator is a term that comes up.
That's amazing.
Because it happens enough.
It's also a good band name.
Where I mean, it's 95% men, but occasionally a wife will.
It happens enough that they made a term word for it.
Because they had to think of what could we call this. It's like, like there's serial killers, mass murder, there's spree murder.
I can see it in the death metal font for sure.
And you can't just say family murder, because that could also be women who lose their mind and drown all their kids.
Sure.
You need Family Annihilator, that they just wipe everyone out, to start a new life.
I love that murder has gotten to the same point rock and roll has, where we gotta have 85 subgenres.
Somebody meet a guy what's your favorite music? Rock and roll. No one says that.
Is this crust punk or emo punk? Like, that's so fucking
speed
funny
or thrash.
This isn't death metal, it's black metal. Okay,
is this patricide or family annihilation?
Family Annihilator. Pretty good. That's the next Seth MacFarlane show.
Jesus. I don't know how he spins that to be funny, but he's earned it. He gets a shot at it.
He made American Dad, and that's not funny. So
right. It's on like season 17. It's still on the air as far as I know.
So Homer continues to keep this lie going, just sitting at Krusty Burger, and one day a bunch of students are there, and Bart catches him and is like, what the fuck? And Homer comes clean to Bart, lets him know, hey, I didn't get that job, but I can't, like, tell your mom that because that's gonna embarrass me and she's gonna be sad. But Homer eventually is like, okay, I'm going to tell Marge, but he has to tell this elaborate lie to keep things going. And he decides that he's going to take her into a private plane, which is the only place that you can hear bad news and still be happy because of how amazing private planes are. So that's his plan. They show him fucking hand some money to a private plane pilot.
Cash, too.
Yeah, cash. Handing cash to a pilot. And he's just like, yeah, we take off and you go around a while and I'll break the news and then you land and it'll be fine. So they get up there. Marge is all wooed by the private plane life, as would I be.
Yeah, right?
And Homer's about to break the news to her when there's like a kerfuffle. There's some happenings up in the cockpit, and the fucking pilot is half conscious. He goes, I didn't think I had to fly today, so I did a bunch of heroin and blacks out.
You can tell heroin wasn't the hot button issue it is now.
Yeah. Heroin in 1992 or 2019 off limits, but there's this sweet spot in the middle where nobody is addicted to heroin.
Heroin was really out of the news in the mid-aughts.
Yeah, heroin had a nice grace period there. The bell curve bottomed out on heroin for a bit. Homer takes control of the plane. Marge calls up the life coach and has him encourage Homer, and kind of like also breaks down like, listen, I'm not some magic where he's eating a TV dinner with no pants on, which is funny.
I'm with a client.
And he coaches Homer through it. Homer lands safely on the tarmac and then drives the plane off a cliff. And that was pretty funny.
Because he's like, he lands in I'll taxi it to the runway. Like, it's like he had to take it the extra step.
I'll just taxi over to the hangar and just drives off the cliff and crashes into the water.
That's where you find out that Lionel Richie was still on the plane.
Yeah, we get a brief scene with Lionel Richie where they're trying to fucking chopper lift him out of the water, and they're like, you're too heavy, let go of your People's Choice Awards, or American Music Awards, I think.
Yep.
He's like, well, how many do you have? None. Well, then you wouldn't understand why I won't let mine go.
You let go of yours. I don't have any. Exactly.
Yeah, that was a fun bit.
Yeah.
And we wrap it up.
We did it.
Season 19, I think, not off to the strongest start, because I think that episode is the weakest of our 5. I think that all of the other 4 from season 18 that we reviewed this week are better than that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I could maybe. I don't think I was as high on the first episode of this batch as
the Volunteer Fire Department one?
I'd maybe put this one
Which again
close.
Surprises me as much as you love Volunteer Fire Department.
Yeah. Maybe I was just too in depth, too in the weeds to appreciate the laughs.
But like the 24 episode, the Kent Brockman episode with all the fucking Fox News jokes. Like
the second one in the batch, I laughed a lot at.
Yeah, the corn maze one. Like there was some good shit in here. The fucking Santa's Little Helper cop dog. Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff in this batch.
Season 18 was a good episode. A step ahead of season 17, I think.
Again, I have no idea because they all blend together. But from what I remember, 18 was pretty solid.
Yeah.
You and I are doing comedy.
We sure are.
Buddy pal. We will be in Ashley, North Dakota.
You know what? You love it.
This Thursday, the 23rd.
Come hang in Ashley.
Yeah, if you're in North Dakota, come hang with
Why
us.
not?
It'll be fun.
Do it.
I feel like we've had a on and again, off again kind of fits and starts sort of December, but I'm looking at my calendar and brother, you and I are telling a lot of jokes in January.
Yeah,
So
a lot
that'll
of
be
corporate
fun.
gigs.
Yeah, a lot of corporate gigs, a lot of fucking regular ass fucking road shows too. Be a good time.
Yeah.
So we got comedy, we got Christmas, we got New Year's right around the corner. Let's do something special.
Why not?
And let's do something topical to what we're talking about on this show. I certainly missed a lot of those references in the intro to the new episode of season 19, season 1.
You have not seen the movie.
Nathan,
Yes.
instead of watching 5 episodes of The Simpsons next week, I'm going to propose that you and I and all of our listeners who are among those who keep up with us watching the episodes as we go, or you don't, whatever, I think that next week, to celebrate, to close out the year strong, we should do the Simpsons movie.
It's so crazy. It just might work.
Let's fucking do it.
Let's find out.
Next week, no Simpsons episodes, just the Simpsons
How
movie.
are we going to do it? Because we got this pass the mic thing episode to episode. How are we going to mash it together? And we're going to push these parts.
Who knows?
It's going to be. Are we going to be talking over each other? Is it going to be weird dead
Maybe it'll
air?
be a wreck. We're not fucking.
Yeah.
There's no episodes. There's no structure.
This is like when a sitcom decides to do a live episode. Mm-hmm. Yep. So you tune. It could be groundbreaking. Could be tedious. We don't know yet.
This could be a train wreck.
It could end the podcast. It could be the one that gets us on a daytime podcast Emmy.
I have been told that it is like a really long episode of The Simpsons.
I am a believer of almost every sitcom-based movie I've ever seen. You know what my thought usually is? That was fine. I'd rather have watched 4 or 5 new episodes of that show.
And basically, as far as time commitment goes, I looked up the runtimes. This is about 4 episodes of The Simpsons.
Okay.
So, this won't be, as far as time commitment on you, the listener's part, it's not that much. It's actually a light week for you.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
There you go. Yeah, you got holiday shopping to do. You have.
But I have a
caroling.
prediction. I bet that this thing is so dense that we end up with an episode of America's Barley Basket that is at least as long as a regular episode of America's Barley Basket.
I bet so too.
Tune in next week and find out on a very special episode.
So special.
Which makes it sound like we're going to talk about drugs and peer pressure.
Well, we've never seen the movie. That's what it could be about.
Of America's Barley Basket. You can find us on the internet at Barley Basket USA on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. BarleyBasketUSA@gmail.com is the email address. Columbus, Ohio, email us with where you want us to perform stand-up comedy, because the two of us very badly want to make a trip out to the OH.
Mm-hmm, we sure do.
So let us know where we should do that. Everyone enjoy your week.
Bye, everybody.